these are product oriented.
Okay.
I mean, I'm only on like the 5th review, but they're all about just like
I wonder if they still have a store in the
organizational
mall
things.
though, because they had one next to Nordstrom. Because then that would be great if I could just go there
Yeah.
in person. Store.
They don't have it
Hardly
at Ulta?
exists, but well,
I have no idea.
I didn't
but-
think of that. I bet you they do. That would have been better because at least it's like a company I could go to.
Yeah. Wonder.
No, well.
Oh well, everyone, welcome. Sorry for the power outage.
Oh yeah, power outage. Woo.
This was not our fault that we're being this
I know,
late.
exactly.
Yep.
We were kind of on time, ish.
What time did you say?
10:30.
10:30, but I pushed it back to 10:45. So we were kind of there. Not quite, but we were almost there.
Nice.
And then
Not
power
bad.
outage knocked out for 15 minutes. So, can you guys all hear?
You chewing? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry if anyone has. This is an ASMR channel.
Yeah, they do at Ulta. I mean, it's good to know for the future.
Yeah.
Wes.
That is good to know.
I should actually probably start using that.
I'm trying to do all the clean stuff
Yeah.
just because there's a lot of crap and stuff that we don't realize.
Everyone, Danny changes it up. He's not wearing socks today.
Oh yeah.
Or
I was
is
wearing
he?
socks, but they were boring socks.
Or
Oh
is
yeah, socks that are painted like my feet. But then I think they kind of smelled.
Instead of an
'cause I was-
invisibility
This.
cloak, he's got his invisibility socks on.
Yes, they don't make my feet invisible, just make the socks invisible. Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
But they kind of smelled, and I didn't want to put you guys through it. So now that I've aired my toes out, I think it's
Can
better.
everyone do that with their toes?
Wiggle them?
Well, like wiggle.
Yeah.
Air 'em out.
You can't?
No. They're like a mitten.
Probably need to stretch your feet. Like under, are you tight down here?
Probably. I don't know. I don't.
Mine crack all the time.
I always try to
Wait,
pick
you
stuff up
can
with my
too?
feet, though.
Yeah.
That's why.
I
This
want to take my
is-
socks off, but
This. Oh my gosh. They look webbed out.
okay, yeah. I got web feet. I'm not a very good swimmer, but I can grab things with my toes.
That is
That was
all
my-
I can do.
My it's like a known thing in our family. We have really long toes, and we can grab things. We're like ape-ish. But if one time my niece, one of the twins, she was just like messing around when she was like 3 years old. She picked like a pencil up with her feet and just grabbed it, and we were all like, "Yeah, she's one of us!"
Yes.
We were like proud of her.
I used
That's
to give
so
thumbs up
great.
with my big toe.
What?
Your rapper.
I don't know if I could do
A
that.
thumbs up.
Yeah, you like.
Oh my.
That was like the joke of me and my family.
Do you guys have hitchhiker's thumb? Another weird thing.
No.
Mm-mm. You kind of have it. You like bend it back like this.
A little bit.
This one goes back more.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You have one hitchhiker's thumb, not the other.
other
You
one.
never do
John's
that.
is pretty
Right.
extreme.
I didn't know that though. Did you see how extreme mine are?
No.
Boom, boom.
She can do one real good.
I see it.
Did you break
Left
that thumb?
side.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Wow.
That's so
That's
crazy.
crazy. You can like spell what like what
Like
is
mine
that
are
letter?
even.
L. Couldn't think of it for a second.
Words are hard.
Mm.
Especially in the morning.
I threw something in subreddit to you that is like people wanting to ask you guys questions for the end of the series. So we're gonna ask a few of those too.
Nice.
So let's get started.
I was thinking about the series that HBO or Warner Brothers got permission for. And I was trying to brainstorm how they're going to do it. None of the original cast. So they could do what we've been dreaming of, just a classic straight, the books, but taking way longer to tell the story, dive into the details. Maybe try and do it exactly like the books. Maybe add a little bit even. But then I also thought, what if they didn't? What if they told a parallel story to the books? Some crossover, but something that was like taking place in the same time period, but maybe in a different part of the wizarding world, or like
Ooh.
half and half. And I was just trying to think if there were any other things that would make sense, that would be
gonna write
close
that?
enough. Well, J.K. Rowling is in the.
Yeah.
She's an executive producer.
Yeah.
She's locked in for it. So
That's so
so
exciting.
whatever happens will be canon, and that's why it's kind of weird and cool.
Canon, guys.
But that's why I'm excited. I'm like, ooh, they could go to another country or tell like other parts of the story, which I think would be fascinating. As much as
Side
I would
stories
love
would
for
be
them just
great.
to keep it
Yeah.
straight to the books too, but it'd be cool to get bonus material.
Like when
perspectives, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Even.
Yep.
like when different TV shows just throw in, it's like a throwaway episode sometimes, but they'll just use a completely different person's perspective or something like that, or just like what was the show? Barry. Did you guys any of you guys watch Barry? It's a weird show.
Sounds familiar, but I don't think
it was
so.
Bill Hader, and he was an
like
assassin.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said buried at first. I was like,
Barry.
Like a
Barry.
name. Like
Barry,
a
like a
man's
name, and his name is Barry, and he's
say
an
that?
assassin, and he
Barry?
goes to an acting class, and he wants
He
to
has
become
an
an actor. I don't have an accent.
yeah,
Barry? I have a weird accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I
now
didn't
you,
know that's like you have
it's not.
Southern.
It's just like
How do you guys say it? I say Barry.
maybe it's your time in the
Barry?
Midwest.
Barry.
Yeah, exactly.
Barry. I think I say Barry.
Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say Barry.
Barry.
Bill Hader was on a talk show, and he actually talked about how different people say Barry.
Nice.
He's like, if you go up north, he's like, you're gonna get people, and they're gonna be like, hey, and how's your show, Barry? And
Barry.
he talks about like the southern people, Barry. So maybe I'm like the southern in me.
Yeah, you picked up the Southern.
Barry.
I mean,
I
I
like
went to
it.
school in
Barry?
Florida, but I left that there.
Anyway, there's like this whole throwaway episode. The whole show is kind of entertaining, and then there's this one of it's just like this massive chase scene, and it's like an entertaining little episode, and people loved it. I feel like they could do that with Harry Potter too, like getting, I don't know, like one episode just give us Neville's day, like something that
You're
happens
so
or
right.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like his day before, he goes, or like when he sees his parents, like that'd be such a fun perspective having Neville. But she's an executive producer on it, which is why I'm hopeful for it, but I'm still nervous.
What
Oh,
are they
yeah.
like saying? Did they give a time frame at all?
No, I don't
No,
think
'cause
because
it's
it only
too
just got
new.
signed officially this week, and the fact that it was out last week or 2 weeks ago, rumors, but like it officially got
All the
locked in.
details.
Deals were signed, money I'm sure was thrown around a little bit, but I don't think the rest of the details will be ironed out for a little bit, and they probably will keep it under wraps as long as they can. Yeah, we'll see.
I have hopes. I have high hopes for it, but I'm also tempering my excitement
Yeah.
for it a
Yep.
lot, 'cause I'm a little nervous for it. People are already talking about some of the casting that they're doing, and I mean everyone wants Adam Driver to play Snape. I
Oh my
think he'd
gosh,
be
yeah.
just
That
the
would be
best.
Who's that?
awesome.
Perfect.
Adam Driver,
Kylo Ren,
Yeah.
or he was in
Star Wars.
Marriage Story.
Yeah,
The one
Which
that
won an
looks
Oscar?
like the other guy. They look similar.
Yeah,
yeah,
Alan
Alan
Like
Rickman.
a
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
He looks like a young version of him. Yeah, they want Helen Mirren to play McGonagall.
Oh,
I think that'd be great, but I feel like she's a little too old.
Agreed. She is like
Yeah.
kind of older, but
Well, at least it sticks. Like I don't know names of any actors. I can't remember names in the book, so it's yeah.
But we're on the
Good.
last two chapters, which is really exciting. So welcome to the podcast. I'm John,
Jen.
Danny.
And Kristen.
and this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. So what did you guys think of the last two chapters? How
They
did
were
you like
good.
the wrap up of this book?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Did you like these two chapters more than the last two that we did live read on?
Yeah. I liked
Yeah.
the last, like the second to last, whatever
Yeah.
chapter that was.
With Dumbledore?
Yeah, the Dumbledore debrief.
Yeah.
I don't think I liked them more, but it was just different. It was like quieter. It was peaceful.
Well,
it was
I
actually
like
nice.
answers.
Yeah, and it was nice to breaking it up. Like all the action happened in the live read chapters, and then it was like enough time, and then I read these two chapters.
Right.
It felt like a really big
Relaxing.
tone shift. It was just like a good wind down.
Yeah.
But it kind of still happened pretty fast.
Yeah.
But the pacing of the chapters still like felt pretty good. I liked
got
it.
annoyed with
It was
Dumbledore,
calming.
Though.
You
Yeah,
got
annoyed
annoyed with
with him?
Dumbledore,
Just because, only because, why didn't you say this stuff?
I know.
which is what we were telling him
I
for
know.
books now. We're
I
like,
know.
just tell Harry what's going
Communicate.
on.
And then his excuse is in my old age. I'm like, what does that do?
And he cared for Harry, which is something he never wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that like threw him off. It
He
still
never
felt a little
wanted
lame.
to. I don't think he wanted to admit it to others.
I had such a different view on that. Because
what-
it is what it is. I thought
Yeah.
it was really big of him that he was so vulnerable
Yep.
to Harry at that point.
Dumbledore.
He should have been that way beforehand,
Agreed.
but he was like, look, I messed up.
Yep.
And like,
No, yeah,
not a lot of
that's
people
what
would
I
be
lo-
able to.
I loved it. I was just saying, it was frustrating reading it because it was like,
Why
this
couldn't this happen
information
earlier?
Well,
should
right,
have been,
right.
and it could have saved so much
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
energy, time, lives, like all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
But you're
Dumbledore
right,
was
yeah.
literally saying,
Well, I was just taking it from the perspective of like it is what it is.
Yeah.
yep. Like if
Yeah, I don't like that.
it's like Dumbledore, he at least fessed up. He reached that point, could have done things different, and he was just like, I messed up. But he was even saying how he wasn't even thinking about the potential consequences of other people dying and suffering. He was only concerned about Harry's well-being in that moment. And that's a kind of sweet thing, even if it is slightly misguided, but it's a very easy mistake to make.
But what a truth, though.
Yeah.
From a parent to a child,
Mhm.
that's what you want. You want to protect your child from any kind of harm in life, but you have to
Yep.
take all aspects into consideration.
Yeah.
And their growth, and I was fascinated by that chapter.
Yeah. What do you do
Yeah.
as a parent for that? It's so tough. When does censorship begin and start and end?
Right.
And then
Mm.
to
Even he battled
apologize.
like with what age Harry should know.
Yeah.
He was like, you were too young, but then the next year you were still too young.
Mm-hmm.
There was too much going on, and
I actually want to talk about your guys' like understanding of Dumbledore too. Do you trust him more or less? How did you think he dealt with this whole situation?
I trust him a little less.
Really?
I like him more, but trust him less. Only because before he was infallible in a way. He was so a little distant and so high above everyone else that it was just like blind trust in whatever Dumbledore does. And then I'm like, ooh, he's human.
Yeah.
He's messing up and he knows he's messed up, and his decisions have consequences, and sometimes big ones too. So there's less trust because of that. He's no longer perfect. But I like him more for it. He's more relatable because nobody is. So it's like, well, now he feels like a normal human. So yeah, I like him more, trust him less, which is weird.
Yeah.
I feel like the opposite.
Ooh.
You trust him more after this?
Because he's like being so upfront and vulnerable that like I would trust you more than hiding stuff.
Right.
Like the all-knowing thing, which we all were, at least we were saying that like, or at least I was saying that like, oh, he knows the future, he knows everything, we
Yeah.
trust him. But like, I get what you're saying too, but I think just like the fact that you can admit to your faults, and then I feel like now going forward it might even be a different type of relationship too. So I feel like I would trust more, like, look what happened then, these are the mistakes, I kind of don't want to repeat it, I would think, I don't know. And so I would trust him more. Like, I think I would hope that Dumbledore would be more open with him now. So the trusting of that, like, I trust that you're not going to make this mistake again, kind of thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does make sense. I feel like we just peeked behind the curtain a lot, and that's just a little bit scary.
Why?
Well, just because now we see like how he operates a little bit, and
What does that mean though to you?
like he's just doing what all humans do, and like taking in their information and making the best choice based on judgment in the moment. But like even we're thinking of him as like seeing the future, and we even learn more that like he doesn't actually know how things are going to happen. He's just really wise, really smart, really like perceptive, maybe
like
sometimes can kind of read people's minds. We got like hints out here.
Oh, he said he's good at
Legitimacy.
yeah.
He even says that
Yeah.
That
when he's
good
talking
at
about
it.
with Creature.
Yeah, I know.
Which is a little almost scary. Like,
Yeah.
It seems like a little invasion too. Like he's so good. You wonder if he's actually done that with Harry or if he's done that with anybody else, like invaded their mind in some way.
But then that's maybe how he sees the future.
Yeah.
We thought he's seeing the future, but
Mhm.
maybe that's how.
Yeah. But either way, he
Some
just was
things,
more
like,
humanized.
Don't line up though. It just
Ooh,
seems
like what?
No, because a lot of things it seemed like he knew the future, right? And I can't give all the examples because I don't really remember. But I remember saying like, oh, like how did he know X, Y, and Z, or the court case, or like, remember when Harry was going to court and he just showed
By a
up?
happy occurrence, I showed up today.
Yeah, and I was like, how did he know that? Like, I would think you'd have to be in front of someone to have the legitimacy. Or can you do it from far away? I doubt it. You have to be with the person I'm thinking.
You have to be able to see them.
Right.
Mm.
So then to throw this chapter in and be like, make him so human, it just was a little off, I felt. But
So are you suggesting that we're gonna find out he's purposefully over-humanizing himself so he's relatable to Harry, and we're gonna find out he was more in control than we ever realized later?
Is he doing this? Is this manipulation?
no,
Like, is this another, like, you can trust me, Harry, look how vulnerable I'm being?
I don't know. I guess I'm
I don't
just
either.
processing it while we're talking too,
Same.
because I was like, it kind of is strange because up until now it's like we were saying, like, he sees the future. There's certain instances where like he knows what's going on. He stops things. The time turner, like all these, I don't know, all these different things that I just find show off.
What?
He like moved his stand with his toes. That's why I laughed.
I didn't see that. I just saw your face after, and I was like, what is happening?
I think this is the first chapter where Dumbledore seems like a more multifaceted person. He seems complex rather than just like he knows everything. He's the character that we trust all the time. Right now, sometimes you're like exactly what you guys are saying. Some people are like, your trust is shaken in him a little bit, but then his authenticity brings it out. You're like, I trust him more because he's being authentic, because he's being human. But some of the stuff that he does is almost frustrating. Like,
Almost.
yeah, it is.
Definitely.
Like when he just, if I'm in Harry's position, I'm doing the same stuff that he's doing. Like maybe not destroying the office, but like, let me out of your office. Dumbledore doesn't let him. I'm like, I'm not going to talk to you. Let me out of your office. And Dumbledore doesn't let him. And it's so frustrating as a kid when you're like that you don't have the power yet over adults.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't just be like, look, let me out of your office. I'm not going to talk to you. You just like are forced to do it. I don't like that Dumbledore did that, but at the same time, I like that he did that. Like his responses for certain things were brilliant, but also like annoying if I'm in Harry's position.
Yeah.
I know how Harry's feeling, which makes, I feel like this chapter bumped Harry in my mind. Like one of the reasons why I thought this was going to be your favorite book, because I feel like Harry shows some of the most growth in this book, especially at the end of this. There's that gutting moment, devastating moment when he's just sitting outside by the lake completely alone and he feels so sad. He's looking across the lake, thinking where Sirius, this is where Sirius, like he saved Sirius, and it's just so sad. But he feels like I just feel like he grew so much, especially at the end of this book.
Yeah, you're right.
And it makes me proud of him.
I was like nervous when he was walking around campus because he was getting everything he wanted, but none of it mattered because of losing Sirius. But I could tell like the tension was growing, and I was afraid he was going to blow up and do something dumb. Yeah. So I felt that tension, and then we didn't really get to see too much. It was like all going down, like rock bottom. But I feel like right at the end, we got to see him like with a little bit of hope. He felt like the people around him. And then I don't know if it really meant it, but like the ending line to the book is like that he led the way out of the station. Yeah. So he's not just like following with his head hung low. He's leading the way out. So it feels like we're starting to see that upswing. And as long as that's like a healthy upswing, then I feel like he grew a lot in this book. As long as he doesn't kind of repeat old mistakes like with Cedric. But man, when he's like we could get into it, smashing the mirror and stuff. But poor Harry.
He just destroys the office. Yeah.
Yep.
One of my favorite, if you even want to look in that, one of my favorite images that Jim K made is in the end of that book of him and Dumbledore in the office. It's a beautiful, it's like a really moving image. Harry is just devastated and Dumbledore just looks so regretful.
Flipped through it without anything.
I know. Whoa. But that's the last one. I can't get him anymore because they have to come out with a 6th and 7th. So I'm back on the normal books. And Jim K's not doing it anymore. So
welcome back to our world.
I know.
These are intense.
Is this the fight? The Death Eater?
Yeah. I forget what the chapter names were, but this is Beyond the Veil.
Yep.
So this is like the fighting. Man, those Death Eaters look intense.
I know.
Oh, that's Sirius going flying down.
Why would you show this to us?
There's our remorse.
I know.
I know I'm going to cry in the movie because it's a visual for me.
Well.
You got to look at the very end. Dumbledore and Harry in the office.
Is this Dumbledore's clock?
I'm like,
His pocket watch?
Turn the page. There's a clock and staring at it for like 5
But it's a
minutes.
pocket watch, and look how cool it is. And what's it mean?
Jen's like, turn the page.
This means a lot of stuff. There's some meat in there.
Analyze it later.
Oh, what a battle. He's less sexy. I mean, movie Voldemort is sexier than book Voldemort.
Jen's like, hold on. Let me
Oh, yeah, now I got to slow it down.
What's funny is this though is that Voldemort looks like he's trying so hard, and Dumbledore is at ease fighting him in this illustration.
What a boss. Oh, man. And he went in to get Umbridge all by himself, confident, not a scratch on him.
That's right.
Legendary. Ooh, wow, cool.
I must have listened quickly.
Yeah, I'm forgetting things too.
Dumbledore's office, looking cool.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks so sad.
I know.
That was heart-wrenching. The moments in the office with the
I know.
Dumbledore put his head in his hands. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yep.
We didn't really do a chapter summary, but I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
This one is just the debrief in Dumbledore's office. I don't even think Harry leaves the office in this chapter.
No.
It's just sitting in the office talking to Dumbledore the whole chapter.
Yeah. And these are like the lines that we get in the beginning. Just devastating lines. It was unbearable. He could not think about it. He could not stand it. There was a terrible hollow inside him he did not want to feel or examine. A dark hole where Sirius had been, where Sirius had vanished. He did not want to be alone with that great silent space. He could not stand it. Let me out, Harry said yet again in a voice that was cold and almost as calm as Dumbledore's. Not until I've had my say, said Dumbledore. Do you think I want to? Do you think I give a... I don't care what you've got to say, Harry roared. I don't want to hear anything that you've got to say. You will, said Dumbledore steadily, because you are not nearly as angry with me as you ought to be. If you are to attack me, as I know you are close to doing, I would like to have thoroughly earned it. Do you think that Dumbledore is the one to blame for everything that happened?
No. It's too far removed from the actual stuff that happened. I think he played a part, but I don't think he's to blame.
Head, Death Eater.
Really?
Baby head.
Seriously?
I didn't even notice it was in there.
Yeah, that looks like baby
You
head
didn't
to
know?
me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we're allowed to
sorry,
show
I'm a
this on the
visual
stream,
person.
but
I'm like, ooh, let's
go out and
it
buy
after,
the book,
guys.
people. Yeah.
well, you said to look at it.
But yeah, I
on
don't
me.
think Dumbledore can be to blame because it's like, how far removed can you actually blame someone? Dumbledore was making decisions that impacted a lot of things, but in the end, it's still like the only reason. Yeah, definitely. The only reason that Dumbledore would be to blame is just if you're discrediting Harry's own ability to make decisions and to do things, you know? I don't know. It's too many steps removed.
The thing is, you could blame anyone, though. You could blame Harry because he didn't open the gift and he didn't see the mirror. And he
I
should've
can't
communicated
believe
with
it. After
Sirius.
all that,
Oh
the
my
mirror
gosh.
just goes away like that. He could.
Isn't
The
that
whole
the
thing would have
most-
been solved if he just opened
But
the
then
thing.
it could also be Sirius's fault because he
know.
gave him the gift instead of saying, "Here, this is something you can literally
Right.
open, call me, and you'll see me immediately." So
He tried to say it, but he didn't like. Again, he didn't express how
no, this is
Yeah.
what's so
perfect it
frustrating
is.
about
I
this
know.
book,
He's like, this is.
everyone's like,
it's a
"Here."
mirror. Why is
Like,
everything
show
a
'em how
mystery?
to do it, I
Yes, show him how to do it. Hey, let's practice. This is how you do FaceTime.
Yep.
You know, like,
know.
why is he's just handing it to him and then like it's all wrapped up?
So-
Oh, I don't know.
That
It
was,
could be
to me, that's
anyone's.
one of the most devastating parts of the entire series.
Yeah,
Sirius dies. Harry goes through his bag and sees this mirror that everything could have been solved if he used
because
That
they
was
could have
so
warned
annoying.
people at the Order
Yep.
anytime they needed to. He could have been in communication so he wouldn't have felt so alone.
Yep.
He could have been trying to learn occlumency from Sirius,
I know.
maybe, or like just anything. And then at the end, is Sirius in trouble? I don't know. Let me check. Hey, Sirius, you there?
Yep.
Oh,
I
you're
know,
not.
That's what I'm saying.
Cool.
It would have been so serious.
So like you could
so
stem it
simple.
in any direction. It could be Harry's fault. It could be Dumbledore's fault, or it could be Sirius.
Can anything happen with this mirror?
What do you mean?
Like, right now, all we know is the mirror was gifted and it broke. Harry broke it because it didn't work, supposedly, after the few seconds he waited. Why did she introduce this mirror? Just to heap on more guilt to Harry?
Yes, at this point, that's
Because
what
that's
you
how
feel.
it feels like. It feels like, as she wrote it, it feels like the mirror is just all the more reason we're supposed to be maybe a little frustrated with Harry or Sirius or their lack of communication. But I'm like, what did it accomplish? Like, if you left the mirror out of the story, it'd be exactly the same. The only thing the mirror added to this story is extra, like, whack your head on a wall. Like, why didn't we think of that?
Yeah.
Forehead smack. And that just feels weird. So I'm hoping something more could come out of it, but I don't know what.
Do you think that you could actually communicate with Sirius?
Maybe if the mirror was on him when he went through the veil. No, I don't think you can communicate with people
What if Harry
that
went
are
to
dead,
the
but
veil,
you can
though?
hear their voices on the other side of the veil. Yeah, like could he
'cause
be there? Like,
remember
yo,
Luna
Sirius.
was like,
Yeah.
well, we'll be able to talk to them or see them.
such a
or
beautiful
We'll
whatever.
see them
part.
again. Like they
I was like-
exist still.
That's
Wondering
why.
if
That's
people
when
are-
Luna really becomes such an integral part of this whole book.
Yep. What a gem.
I know.
I feel like the mirror could be repaired pretty quick.
Yeah, because
Sure.
he just shattered it in his
Yep.
suitcase.
And I'm assuming Reparo would also get it back to functional capacity. But then what could be done with it? If Sirius left it behind, they can at least find it at Grimmauld Place and then or wherever Sirius left it and then use it for their own purposes later. But the way they talked about it made it sound like James and Sirius would do this in school, like it was casual.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't they get a bunch of these mirrors and they all have
know.
these like in their pockets?
This is cell phones
Right.
before cell phones. are a
Yeah,
thing.
this is very useful.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Harry, Ron, and Hermione should just always have these around.
Like
or
small
Harry
little
and
ones.
Dumbledore. Like,
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
you know, and especially if you can just say the name and it calls people, it is a cell phone at that
Yep.
point, you know? But maybe it's harder to make. Maybe James and Sirius didn't make it. They found it somewhere. Maybe the Room of Requirement gave them one. But I don't know. For whatever reason, I feel like it's going to come back because currently it didn't serve enough purpose. It feels like a strange loose end. I forget that like literary thing. It's like in Act 1, if there's a gun hanging on the wall, by
Yeah.
Act 3 it should be fired. This mirror feels like the hanging gun on the wall.
Yeah.
And someone took it off the wall but just didn't do anything with it. So I hope something is done, but I don't think it could be with Sirius. Maybe.
Interesting theory.
Again, it's like a dangerous thing to open up post-death things.
I know.
I'm not just talking about like religion
Yeah.
or whatever beliefs, but like just like time travel.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden you can talk to dead people, then like what is death anymore?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But the veil is already like a little bit weird, but I loved getting little headless Nick, nearly
Yeah.
headless Nick.
That kind of finalizes it.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, that closes it, but also tells us more about ghosts.
I know.
How you have to kind of choose if you're going to, but nobody does because it's like not a real life. It's not real death either.
Yeah.
You're in limbo.
The progression that Harry experienced with those things, I think, was perfectly written. When he looks at the mirror, realizes his utter regret at not using it, and devastating that he couldn't. Then he runs off to Sir Nicholas, asks him, and he goes, Sirius would have moved on. Like, you even get the whole download of Ghost, which we'll talk about. So it's like finalized a little bit. It's devastating when Harry turns around, expecting Sirius as a ghost form to be
Like in that
in
moment.
the classroom, and then Nicholas says he will have moved on, and then Harry is walking toward the feast and sees Luna. That's when Luna consoles him, and Luna's consolation is so great. That's why Luna is such a great character in this book.
Yes.
She's just so genuine. She just knows.
All those kids stealing her stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny that Harry's it felt like almost like Harry rediscovering his purpose, like helping people. Like he can help people again, and he's like, oh wow, even with Sirius gone, there are still people who need help. And he like pitied her a little bit, and maybe it was a bit of his savior complex thing, but like again showing his like good character that like in that moment he wanted to help her.
Yeah.
And he forgot about his own problems when he
Yep.
saw another person's
Yeah,
problems.
he's serving another person. But Jen, you nailed the creature prediction.
I said that. I don't remember.
You knew he was a little shady, a little shifty.
Oh,
You called it, yeah.
I was like, if we were going with Hermione's theory, that he would be just saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah, and their history was interesting too. Bellatrix. No,
I know.
is Bellatrix Malfoy's mom? No,
Aunt.
Aunt.
Yeah.
Because Bellatrix
Right,
and
that's what I meant,
Narcissa.
sister.
Narcissa, yeah.
I
Sisters.
missed that one,
Sisters.
or something like that. So that whole like end of the chapter where I was so confused where Harry feels like he's in Voldemort's body, or like the creature took over. I was so confused with that.
Yeah.
But then I was curious as we're talking here. I'm like, wait, Harry is talking to Dumbledore, and while they're talking, he doesn't have that urge to kill him. And is that because Sirius's death has taken over his emotion, and Voldemort cannot then like infiltrate his brain? Because I feel like this timing would be perfect for Voldemort to like spy on Dumbledore's conversation with him, because then he gets the prophecy. Like I just, it's very strange.
It's a great point.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, what changed where now it's okay for Dumbledore to confide in him? I didn't know what that line was, but that would make sense because because Harry's entire focus was kind of, he was told to practice occlumency, and when you're trying to practice something like that, your focus is on that. So it's almost like he was maybe subconsciously focused on Voldemort. So maybe like what you were saying, like his emotions are geared toward that. But after Sirius, maybe like that kind of took over.
And then it sounded like Dumbledore was saying that Voldemort doesn't like he can't fathom these feelings of like love and emotion and care for someone. So the fact that like Harry was so distraught about that, maybe he can't maybe like resonate with that, and he can't infiltrate that.
Maybe it hurts him.
For sure. Maybe this
is
it's such deep love for someone,
right?
Such deep grief. Maybe that's like
his
he can't.
His kryptonite.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Which because Harry goes, just kill me already, because then I'll be with Sirius. And as soon as he said that, it was the love that he experienced for Sirius that Voldemort didn't want anything to do with him and stopped possessing him at that moment. And I feel like there's a point right now where, because Harry is in such grief and such love for Sirius, Voldemort is like, I don't want to possess him anymore. I don't want to experience. I don't want to feel that. He's like not necessarily fearful of it, maybe a little bit, but just almost disgusted by it, where he's like doesn't want to touch it.
Do you think
Like,
he's fearful of it because he
happened
doesn't want to feel it?
Maybe, yeah. That's
I know,
a great
that's what I'm
point.
like, what happened? Like for me, I'm like, what is his history? Because we only got glimpses of his childhood.
Because to be a mass murderer like that, you have to turn off your feelings. You know, because you're gonna feel something eventually.
Well, you wouldn't be able to do those.
Goodness gracious, with the horns.
A cruise ship is leaving.
Yeah, I know.
They're calling us. They're waiting.
What were you gonna say?
It's gonna go off again. But go ahead.
How did you know that?
Because it always goes off.
Duh.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you probably know the pattern.
What is that?
The fire.
Fire station.
Firehouse.
Oh,
Oh, I thought it was a train.
No.
sounds more like that.
Now it should be done.
They won't be able to do the illegal curses if you, like, you have to actually want to kill someone. So, like, the Cruciatus curse, you wouldn't be able to do unless you really want. So I guess you do have to, like you're saying, like turning off.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wasn't even
everything.
thinking of those.
Because then how do you kill people?
Right.
Well,
That's definitely a thing that is not necessarily, like, it's a little up for debate for why Voldemort stopped infiltrating Harry's mind. Most people would probably say it's because of the love idea, but then there are other like side theories on some of it. But it's a really good question for this. Do you think that Voldemort will want to possess Harry again? And do you think the reverse could happen? Do you think that Harry is ever going to go into Voldemort's mind? Because there's a connection, right?
Yeah. He just needs training. And maybe now Dumbledore, the fact that he was revealing, I should have taught you myself, maybe now he will. And then that way he can learn. Because now it's like, all right, it's all out there. Harry, you have to kill Voldemort. You're the only one that can.
Yeah.
So now we got to teach you. You need to have all the tools.
Yeah. Yep.
Because this is even the line that we get. Harry, I believe I was right to think that Voldemort would have made use of you in such a way. On the rare occasions that we had close contact, I thought I saw a shadow of him stir behind your eyes. And Dumbledore doesn't see that right now at this moment. So the question is why? What was the thing that changed? Which is a really tough question.
Or is it Hogwarts? But no, because he was in Hogwarts.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I keep thinking of Sirius and that loss being anger at Dumbledore. But it's really, like you said, it's really a love thing. Grief coming from a place of deep love. So maybe that's why he can't possess Harry at the moment.
Yeah. It's like WandaVision.
Yeah.
What is grief but not love? Persevering or enduring or whatever that line is. It's a great little line. But Harry's experiencing overwhelming love right now for Sirius, but in a grief sort of way.
Yeah.
So maybe Voldemort wants nothing to do with him.
Wonder what that does to him, though, Voldemort. That makes him feel, and then maybe he's not as powerful because then he can't do these curses. If you're starting to feel things,
Interesting.
then maybe you can't.
Do you think if Voldemort ever... What would stop Voldemort from doing what he's doing? Do you think if he had a girlfriend, he'd be like, oh... do you think if he truly loves someone... Do you think if he ever truly loves someone, would he cease what he's doing?
What if he had a sibling that he found out somehow he's related to someone?
I feel like he would have a skewed view of being in love with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because
I was
that
thinking
would
of that
really
show,
mess him up.
You, because it's like he's in love with this person, quote unquote, but he's killing people for her. So I feel like it would be something along the lines of that. Not great.
Yep. Huh. Yeah, I don't know if
can
he's
he
capable
learn
of
how
love.
to?
Or maybe he can feel love, but he knows that like drains him of some kind of power, so he just resists it. Although even though all of his Death Eaters seem to be just terrified of him, they're like afraid of retribution. But when he came in and he said something to Bellatrix and called her Bella, I was like, this is a weird energy. I was like, it feels like there might be something there. I don't know. Because it almost felt like calling someone by a nickname, which I don't think we had heard before. It felt like more familiar than I thought Voldemort would get with people. So I was a little bit like, huh.
But he doesn't have any children
that we know of.
Does he?
Little snake
Is
face.
Harry his real child?
Oh, gosh.
We're kind of combining these chapters. Maybe I'll wait on the stuff, but it's funny that Neville could also be the chosen one.
Jen, you nailed that one too.
I did?
Yeah. In the last
like, I
podcast, you
did?
went off on you laid out the exact prophecy without even knowing it. You're like, it could be why. I said, why is there a question mark next to Harry Potter's name? And you said, because maybe it's like talking about another person. It couldn't necessarily be Harry Potter. And I go, who is that other person? You go, Neville, because you love Neville so much. And I was like,
That's so funny.
gosh.
That's great.
Oh, that is funny.
And then my question is, because Harry picked it up, does that confirm that it was Harry? Or could anyone born in July whose parents had betrayed Voldemort multiple times pick it up?
Yeah. Well, that doesn't confirm it. Dumbledore tells Harry that the reason it's confirmed is because Voldemort chose
the mark.
him. Because
So that was like what
because
did
he
it.
marked him as his equal.
You're right.
So
you're
in
right.
that moment, Voldemort was the one that decided that Harry was the chosen one.
But
And-
he could have
Yeah.
done this to Neville,
Yeah.
and then Neville would have been marked.
Yep, Neville would have been the marked one. The one who Voldemort went to. And Dumbledore makes this explicit too. I gotta find the line.
Because it is weird, right? Like, Harry picked up the prophecy, so clearly it is him. But also I thought, like, couldn't the mark be something non-physical? You know, like, there could be another way of marking someone else.
Yeah, but
But-
maybe it is explicitly the scar that's the mark, but maybe the
Yeah.
mark is he will just mark someone. He's the person that he goes after.
Yeah.
Is marked as
Yep,
his equal,
yep.
like marked in like a.
But I wonder why he chose Harry, though.
Well, Dumbledore explains that
I don't remember it then.
because Dumbledore says this is a really fascinating thing. He didn't go after the pureblood, who is Neville.
Oh,
He
right.
went after the person that was more similar to him, which is a half-blood.
Yes, no, I kind of remember. Okay.
Which Dumbledore thinks that's really fascinating. I
Yeah.
didn't actually write that line down, but that's a really interesting line. So that's part of the reason why he went after him. I don't know. Maybe he viewed James and Lily as more of a threat than
Yeah.
Neville's parents. But
Even
Neville's
though
parents were great too.
I know they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
Or
They were charming. They were incredible witches and wizards.
what was their career? I can't say it.
They were
Aurors?
Auras.
Yeah, I was like Aurora. That's what I was
Auroras.
gonna say. It's not like a Disney princess. But Dumbledore also, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Here's some other lines that I'll read to you too. I just want to know, what's your guys' opinion on Creature? Because he says, Creature is what he has been made by wizards, Harry said. Or Harry, said Dumbledore. Yes, he is to be pitied. His existence has been miserable as your friend Dobby's. He was forced to do Sirius's bidding because Sirius was the last of the family to which he was enslaved. But he felt no true loyalty to him. And whatever Creature's faults, it must be admitted that Sirius did nothing to make Creature's lot easier. What do you think? Do you pity Creature at all? Do you hate him? What do you think?
I do pity him.
Really?
I was angry with him, but once Dumbledore said that, I was kind of like,
No.
yeah. I mean,
But the whole family, all of their house elves, I feel like were trained to be these like evil, wanting to do bad things.
yeah.
House elves. So for me, I didn't really feel bad, which maybe is not fair because they're like bred to be that way because
Right.
of their owners or
Yeah.
masters.
And even the weirdness, like Dumbledore mentioned, like a charm on their species. Like it's almost like it's a house elf thing that they can't disobey direct orders from their masters. But like we saw, there are loopholes to that.
Yeah.
You can like interpret things maybe slightly off from
'Cause
how it was intended.
Sirius tells him to get out. And
Yep.
That's the reason he takes that out. He interpreted that. It's all for interpretation
Yeah.
as get out of the house. That's when he took permission to be able to leave.
And serve two masters.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's strange that, and then even again, that he couldn't betray the order, but then he could like tell other things, which,
Yeah.
Kind of does betray the order. So it feels weird, just like Dobby was able to kind of do similar stuff where we're like, we just don't understand house elves. That's why I don't get why they were okay with Creature being around.
Yep.
But it doesn't seem to me to justify mistreating a creature.
Mm-hmm.
In this
Yeah.
case, actually
Yeah.
Creature. And so Sirius, I don't think ever respected him, ever
But
cared
how did
for
you
him.
mistreat him?
I guess we didn't see anything too blatant, but
Not
he was
like
just
he
always mean.
abused him.
Yeah, I think maybe just
Or
more
verbal
neglectful
abuse?
of
Oh.
him.
Yeah.
But what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't know, because Creature is not a very likable character.
Yeah.
Do
Like-
they have a sense of morale?
Yeah.
Or are they all okay?
I think so.
Because I think like that's what gets me with Creature. 'Cause I'm like I don't
Yeah.
siding like with the dark side, That's why I
Yeah,
don't
true.
really feel pity because, like you said, it's hard because if they're being trained a certain way, then that's what they know.
Yeah.
But
You're
at
right.
the same time, if they do have an innate sense of morale, then they have the ability to choose.
Well,
That's where I'm
Dobby.
stuck. That's what I'm thinking. Like Dobby
Yeah.
chose to go against the Malfoys and
Yeah.
go to try to protect Harry.
So yeah,
So
I don't
that's
feel
like-
bad for Creature.
Yeah,
Even more.
I don't know.
There is so there's part of me with the Dobby story, and I think people are gonna get mad at me even for saying this, but I don't think it's necessarily canon that he rebelled against his masters and went away. I still feel like there's part of me that thinks that his master, the Malfoys, told him to do this stuff to Harry, maybe to keep him away for some strange reason. And Dobby was actually kind of obeying orders, but he hated it so much so he would punish himself. That's not, I mean, and Dobby kind of flips that. He does say he was like punishing himself for disobeying his master. But I don't know. Part of me still thinks that maybe the Malfoys were involved in that and he was doing the Malfoys' bidding in some way, in some convoluted way,
Well,
the same way
it had
Like
to
he
Creature is
found a
doing.
loophole,
Yeah.
but he wasn't directly disobeying.
But how would he have known about Harry though? Right? Like he wouldn't have known.
Well, one of the
Right.
first
Why would
things
he
that
wanna
Dobby
protect
says,
him?
because Harry Potter is Harry Potter.
But why? Like because if he's
Because Dobby has
following
heard of his
master,
greatness, but his goodness, Dobby did not know. So
his
yeah,
greatness of just being.
because Harry Potter is like the
shocked.
most famous wizard ever. So I think Dobby just knew of him. And in the same way, like it says, Creature has been made what he is by wizards. So I don't know.
I was gonna jump on to a different thing.
Yeah,
Can you
jump on.
explain like the prophecy though? Like I know that Dumbledore and Trelawney were meeting at
The Hogshead Inn,
Yeah.
Hogshead.
upstairs room.
And then there was a spy, but he wasn't and Trelawney's not the greatest, but she does have every once in a while awesome seeing
Yeah.
visions.
Yeah, every once in a while, meaning like 15 years apart.
I know.
Unless it happened other times in there. But oh man, what funny
So the
timing.
fact that he saw it, but so the spy only heard half of it.
So first of all, who do you think the spy is?
Wormtail?
Mm.
No, I don't know.
A rat would be very good at that.
But why would they be there too? Like, were they just happen
Yeah, great question.
to be there, or was
Why are they in the
this like,
Hogshead?
let's follow Dumbledore and see what he's up to?
Keeping tabs on Dumbledore would be a really smart move from like Voldemort's perspective, because he's like the only real threat. So
But
at
then
least you know
also-
where
But
Dumbledore
the thing
is.
is, it's like, that's what I don't understand any of this though, because it's like this prophecy came out of nowhere. So like, how did Voldemort know that like, let's keep tabs on Dumbledore because I need to know, I don't know, like, I don't even know how I'm trying to say this, but it's like they're trying to stop Voldemort. So is that why he was following Dumbledore? Like he wanted spies? Because this just happened out of chance that like all of a sudden, wait, now I have a equal and they're going to be born in July and now I have to kill them. And like, it's just so random.
It does
that
feel,
even make any-
yeah,
I'm not
kind of
sure
crazy.
if my mind-
No, you're right. Like, why was it just happenstance that Hogshead attracts weird people? So there were a bunch of people there, and someone was like, "Ooh, opportunity," and then they just tried to listen in and got caught. Maybe was it someone following Dumbledore around the whole time, or following Trelawney? Maybe prophecies. I mean, they clearly happen an awful lot. Because there's rooms
wasn't-
with rows and rows of these things.
Voldemort was like on the top of the world, though, wasn't he? Like,
Well,
so-
he was rising to power, but it was still like guerrilla warfare, you know, in
Yeah.
the shadows, cloak and dagger
Dumbledore
stuff.
was like his biggest threat as well, so he's probably tailing Dumbledore for everything. So when Dumbledore leaves the castle, I'm sure he's got people on his tail. And whoever the spy is, they were definitely sent to just keep tabs on him wherever
and
he is.
then so the part he heard was only that like there will be a child born in July.
Mhm.
They will have the same. They'll be equal to your power, and that was it. What was there?
Yeah, I don't know
much,
if he heard the part about marking him or
Yep.
that one would kill the other. And then maybe that's why Voldemort was like, I'm going to try and kill this guy then because I might as well do it when he's young before he has a chance. But little did he know Voldemort was fulfilling the next part of the prophecy by doing that. That's what it kind of sounds like. I like that the prophecy is open-ended because I thought it was going to be more like one way or the other. And then I was like, yeah, but then how can it be fulfilled? Or if it's a guarantee, then is the rest of the book just will it come true or not? But the prophecy is just saying literally we don't know who's going to win, but one of them is and one of them isn't.
At first, I read it as like they both.
Like they're tied together.
Yeah.
They will both die
And
or
then
both
that's
live.
why I thought Dumbledore was having a hard time telling him. I was
Because it
like-
means his
Hold
death.
on. So what do you mean they're tied together? Like they're both going to die?
So, my understanding now is that one will survive by killing the other. The only way they can die is
That's what
if
Harry thinks, yeah.
one. So Harry has to kill him, or Voldemort has to kill Harry, and that's the only way one of them can like fall or disappear.
Yeah.
But originally, I thought they were tied together, and that whoever went to kill someone, the other one would die too. So they would both die. And then I read it as, at first, I'm like, Dumbledore doesn't want to say it because he's basically going to say, you're going to die doing this. But then
Which
I
would
read
be
it.
tough to break to Harry.
Bad
By the
news,
way, Harry,
Harry.
But
no
then
matter
I-
what happens, you're dead.
That's what I thought. My whole theory
Interesting.
was.
Because let's dissect this. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. Born to those who have thrice defied him. Born as the 7th month dies. So that's what the spy heard, and that's what the spy brought back to Voldemort. So
But it's someone that defied him 3 times.
yeah, the only two
Parents.
people were Neville's
His parents.
parents and Harry's parents. So my assumption is that he sent his devoted servants, his most devoted servants, Bellatrix's husband.
Who is her husband?
And the
We don't know
Mr.
yet.
Lestrange.
In the court case.
Oh.
Because we only know that it was the
It was
two
those
of
4
them
people.
and
Yeah,
Barty
for
Crouch
like
Jr.
Italy.
He
Yeah.
sent those 4 to go kill Neville's parents, and he sent himself, where he goes himself, to kill Harry's parents. He marked Harry as his equal there. So that's kind of where we know that. The Dark Lord will mark him as his equal, but he will have power the Dark Lord knows not. And either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives.
Yeah, so that part there, it did kind of still sound to me that they both die.
I know what you
Neither
mean,
can
like-
live.
It's weird wording.
It is very
And
weird.
Either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives.
So to me, that's what I was kind of confused, because I still thought they were connected, and then later on it seemed so like not as deep. I don't know.
Yeah,
What am
it
I
seems.
trying to,
Yeah,
like it was explained like that, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm right.
yeah.
And then it's like, okay, like, sorry, Harry, you're gonna have to fight him.
Right.
And then I'm like, wait, so it's not.
And
you're
Harry-
not gonna die.
Harry is the one
Unless-
who comes to these conclusions too. Harry is the one who kind of questions Dumbledore, saying, "So I'm either going to have to murder him, or he's going to have to murder me." And Dumbledore kind of confirms that, and then that's kind of the running theory onward. That's what the prophecy kind of means at that moment. But when you read it initially, it just seems open ended. So do you think that this is like, I don't know, maybe this is a weird question, but do you think that the prophecy is really more open ended than this, or is it like open and closed, like? Dumbledore kind of explained it
I
here,
still
and
feel
that's
confused,
simple.
So.
Well, I think that's what's weird about a prophecy. Like, after reading all of Dumbledore's explanation and not fully trusting Dumbledore, I'm like, he's not all powerful anymore. He can make mistakes. Even he who received the prophecy could be wrong about what it means. You know, just because he received it doesn't mean he fully understands it. So it's a weird moment of almost as a reader thinking, we could get more meaning in this than Harry or even than Dumbledore. If we like see something more, it's possible that Dumbledore or Harry or both of them could have misunderstood this. But I'm not getting anything more than that. All I'm getting is they could both die, but they can't both live. So
They could both live if they just lived in harmony, but that's not
but
gonna
that
happen.
it can't be, because it says neither can live while the other survives. But it's also saying
But
either
it's a
must die at the
prophecy.
hand of the other. So in my mind, they could kill each other and both die, or one of them could live, but they can't both live. That's how I'm reading that.
Well, yeah.
But what about this connection that they share?
But
'Cause-
that's
Yeah.
the other
That's
thing.
the-
It's like, because anytime he's getting, like that whole battle, he was feeling his scar
Yep.
burning. So I'm like, how can he harm Voldemort and not feel it himself? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems too connected that I'm like, I feel like you both are going to die. Or at least Harry would die killing Voldemort.
Or
Because
Harry
he
can
would
never
be
be
in
a
so
wizard
much
anymore.
pain.
He's got to kill like the magical part of himself or something.
How do you do that?
Well, I don't know, but if there's like whatever this connection is, he's got to break the connection, kill Voldemort, and remove Voldemort's mark on himself, right? If this mark is the
How
connection.
do you do that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe nobody knows. Maybe that's what they have to figure out.
How to break a connection? I feel like you can't. I don't know.
Right. Can it be broken? Or is that like what legitimacy would be? Or you can kill Voldemort, but a part of him will always live inside Harry. And he's going to be a tortured man for the rest of his life, bearing this mark and a piece of Voldemort in the back of his mind, the devil on his shoulder, so to speak. I don't know. But the prophecy is kind of vague.
Yeah. And this is where you're getting all this deep magic, because there's a weird connection that goes on between the two of them. You don't really know what this connection is. You don't know if it can be broken, if it's going to be forever. The same thing even with what Jen's saying. And then also there's this, like, we get the lines on Remember My Last. Like, we know who said Remember My Last, which is so fascinating. But, like, Voldemort...
It was Trelawney's voice.
I know. He was like, he fooled you, a little red herring then. While you can still call the place home where your... while you can still call home the place where your mother's blood dwells, there you cannot be touched or harmed by Voldemort. He shed her blood, but it lives on in you and her sister. Her blood became your refuge. You need return there only once a year. But as long as you can still call it home whilst you are there, he cannot hurt you. Your aunt knows this. I explained what I had done. And in the letter I left with you on her doorstep, she knows that allowing you house room may well keep you alive for the past 15 years.
I'm surprised she's even willing to keep him alive, honestly.
Yeah,
though.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's still a confusing character.
Yeah.
And does Uncle Vernon know all this?
I don't know.
It doesn't seem
I
like
don't
he
think
knows
he
much.
does. Yeah.
So
But
it's just her little secret?
that's actually like
intense.
to me, that's a fascinating point too, because even though she's terrible to him, I think Vernon might be a little bit more terrible than she is. Like, Dumbledore even says, she took you. There's something
that
in her.
Sealed it. That locked it in.
Something in her that still loves Harry in some way, or like pities him, or there's some kind of love there. And she's such a strange character. Such a strange one.
But we were right with one of us said that too, right? About the house. That he can't be touched there.
Yep. Yeah, I think you guys nailed that one.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense why Voldemort isn't going after the house and Dursleys are nothing, I mean,
and it's great that Dumbledore was able to confirm some of that too. That I don't know if it was said before or we were just speculating that like he would have grown up as a prince, anywhere else, but instead he had kind of a humble beginning, and almost too humble, where he's like, I'm sorry I put you through that, and then goes on to explain it. I got worried about Trelawney after this prophecy, because now, I was going to say only 2, but now 3, including Harry, know this prophecy. It means all 3 of them are at risk, because now Voldemort could come after any of them to learn what the prophecy was. Except, as I'm saying it, I might take that back. Maybe Trelawney doesn't even know what she said.
Yeah.
Like that time she spoke to Harry.
It was great in the movies when she goes...
Yeah, that was great.
She like coughs and is like shocked.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, okay. Yeah. So maybe it's only 2.
The weapon was that he needs to know that he has to kill Harry, but that's
I don't buy it. That doesn't make any sense.
It's so stupid because that's what he's not the weapon. Doing. I don't know.
No way. That's not the weapon.
Okay.
Well, I'm angry. I want to know what the weapon is. Why do they think that's the weapon? Do you think it's the weapon?
No, but I don't understand. Like,
Sirius said it was like a weapon.
But it's not.
The other thing is like, what information was Voldemort going to get?
Information is power.
To kill him? He already wants to do that.
Well, think about it. Like, when we know the prophecy, we know it's not necessarily a weapon, but for Voldemort, he doesn't know the second half of the prophecy. So he's maybe thinking it details instructions for how to kill this person. So for him, it's a weapon, clearly.
Maybe. Maybe my problem is it's the knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, this is ammunition.
Sorry, Wes. I did not know you were there, bud. Sorry. Come here, buddy.
You keep beating him up.
I know. Sorry, bud.
Poor Wes. It's almost like this is ammunition, and you still, like, a gun is the weapon and ammunition is ammunition, but you still need a weapon. So it feels like this prophecy or information, even if it is a detailed plan of how to take Harry down, to me that's still information. A weapon is different. A weapon is something you actively use. Information is something you passively receive. So I'm like, it could be that this is a weapon and it's all just like, it is what it is. Maybe it's a British thing. I don't understand. But to me, I'm like, no, we're still missing pieces. There's a bigger thing going on, an actual weapon, something that is actively used that is going to come up later. And it feels like even Harry and Dumbledore aren't thinking that way. And I'm like, guys, this isn't making sense. It's not clicking. It's not satisfying. I'm not like, great, problem solved. Voldemort's on the run. I'm like, he still might have gotten a weapon in all of this. And we're the ones that are out of the loop now. There was an awful lot going on.
The whole thing was like a diversion to get something else.
Because that would be hectic. Because they sacrificed a lot. Well, yeah, but
there's a lot of other lines. Like there's more that's happening in the Department of Mysteries that is really interesting. And this is maybe one of the most important lines in this whole chapter. There is a room in the Department of Mysteries, interrupted Dumbledore, that is kept locked at all times. It contains a force that is at once more powerful and more terrible than death, than human intelligence, than the forces of nature. It is also perhaps the most mysterious of the subjects for study that reside there. It is the power held within that room that you possess in such quantities that in which Voldemort has not at all. That power took you to save Sirius Knight. That power also saved you from possession by Voldemort, because he could not bear to reside in a body so full of the force he detests. In the end, it mattered not that you could close not your mind. It was your heart that saved you. So there's forces out there, and again, this is why I love the Department of Mystery so much, because it's like forces that like we can experience that have some kind of magic to them. They're like studying what love is in this room, which is a really cool idea. But Harry seems to have love in droves. Is love the only power that Harry has that Voldemort cannot experience or doesn't know?
No. I feel like he also, well, I guess it stems from love, so maybe it is, but like wanting to help people, like he's always wanting to be like the savior, and like Voldemort wouldn't want to save anyone. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
it's all about him.
Yeah, like if it's one of his little followers,
crush to get to the top. Even his followers, he treats them like crap. All the Death Eaters.
So true.
Yeah.
And Harry wants to like help people. He's constantly wanting to help encourage people to rise up to their potential. Mm-hmm. So I feel like maybe it stems from love, but like, what would that emotion or?
No, you're right. Like, everyone's got their own moral compass, you know. So what is Voldemort's? Is he willing to lie, cheat, and steal? And are all of those things like, I don't know, it's not love, it's something else. Like, even to him and his followers, if he says, if you do this, you get this, like, is he willing to go back on that? Like, I'm thinking again of Harry with a simple thing. He's at the wishing well and he says, if I get this, I'm going to come back and throw $1 in, or whatever he said, a galleon. And then it does happen. He throws it in. He's got, not only does he want to help people and he cares and there's love, but it's like he does what he says he's going to do. So like, again, this just like deeper moral theme in his heart. And I'm just wondering what Voldemort is okay with. Like, is he okay with any of that other stuff? Yeah, like anything, just fully selfish. Because then I'm like, in that case, Harry's got tons of stuff Voldemort doesn't have. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're polar opposites in a lot of ways.
And also, though, like, at the end of the day, I feel like Voldemort wants to be alone and, like, survive everything. Harry wants everyone to come together and survive together. And I feel like in the end of it all, I don't know how this book ends, but, like, that's always going to trump a single person, like, entity. Like, you can't be alone and be successful or survive. Like, you always need help or community or like something like that. So
right,
I can't really picture. And it's funny, the loyalty from the Death Eaters. I'm like, it's so strange that like you guys still follow him because you get punished if you don't follow through on your orders. So like, why would you want that? I mean, obviously there must be something that we'll maybe find out, hopefully.
And there's parts of it that we kind of get in this chapter too. It's people who are like dreadfully fearful of death. I think Voldemort is terrified of death in a way that is different from the way that Harry fears death.
Maybe that's it too then.
Yeah.
Because he left Harry when he was like, just kill me.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
And that's Harry's is accepting of
great
death.
Point.
And Voldemort wants nothing
is afraid
to do
of
with it.
And Dumbledore says there are things much worse than death.
But Voldemort can't fathom that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's Dumbledore, or that's Voldemort's greatest weakness, is that he doesn't understand that there are things far worse than death.
Right. You're right.
Man, what happened in his childhood?
Do you think we're going to get any information on Voldemort?
So. There's 2 books left. Come on.
There's a lot of chance for information. They're big books, too.
I know. They're going to be great.
I like that Dumbledore explained why he didn't give Harry prefect.
Yeah.
It still felt a little bit much.
I know.
And like, why not explain it to him?
I know.
Write him a little letter.
Do something.
It's because he's old. That's his excuse.
Yeah, I'm an old man. No, it's true. But it made sense. I like it. I think we probably speculated that at the beginning.
Well, it's
but
funny too, because remember in the last book, Harry's like kept saying he looks old and he looks old, and then it comes around in the end of this, like, because I'm old, I forgot to tell you all this stuff.
Harry, I have dementia right now. Last question in this chapter is, what are your thoughts on Snape? Voldemort says, I trust him.
Wait, Voldemort says that?
Sorry, Dumbledore.
I was gonna say, where did it say that?
Wow, like,
that would be a twist.
Intense. I was like, really? That's not a good sign.
Flipping Dumbledore and Voldemort.
Okay. Yeah, I've done that a couple times.
Baltimore.
I talked to text and it came out Baltimore.
That's good. I don't know. I was psyched about Snape for a little bit in the chapter, but then by the end, with the whole thing with McGonagall and Malfoy in the end of the book,
then
I was like, I don't even know about him
I feel
anymore.
like he's just playing into the. I don't know. Now I feel like he's acting when he's at Hogwarts. Like I feel like I can't believe I'm saying this. I trust him because the fact that he did all those things behind the scenes, that it was like a little delayed, but he was the one that called the order. Dumbledore was aware. He went looking for him in the forest, like all these things. But he was acting that part of like he didn't care in front of Umbridge and like
destroying all these children's lives in Gryffindor.
Yeah, I think that's what it just feels like. I can't tell.
I don't know. Does he have to play the part? I don't know. But you also can't stand Harry.
Well, and that's what I was thinking. Yep.
Class. I don't know.
Like no matter what, he does not like Harry.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, it feels like he's doing things for Dumbledore because him and Dumbledore are like boys. But then whenever Dumbledore's not around, he is like taking his chances to make Harry's life kind of miserable.
Because Dumbledore says that. I forgot.
It's real mature.
Another old man's mistake. Some wounds run too deep for
Yes.
healing. I thought Professor Snape could overcome his feelings about your father. I was wrong. So there's still something deep in there.
Yep, he was wrong.
I guess, yeah. If you're bullied.
Well, we don't know. There's more to this
there
story
could
we
be
haven't
more.
seen. I feel like we still didn't get the whole story.
Somehow saved his life, right? Because Dumbledore says
Yeah.
he owes you because whatever his name is, Harry's dad saved his life.
Yeah.
James. Yeah. But that would you're fine.
It's been his own fault. Like, curiosity killed the cat.
It could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the way it was said made it sound like they kind of set him up for it. I forget all the details, but
Really?
whether
I
it was
thought it was
James or
different.
whether it was Sirius and Wormtail, somebody set him up to go down there. It seemed like
you
it
know,
was implied.
Putting like a knife to someone's throat and then not slitting their throat and being like, I saved your life.
Yeah.
It's like kind of feels like that right
That's how it feels right now. So I'm wondering if we're going to get a bigger story.
Yeah.
I guess I totally have a different take on it.
Yeah. Well,
Which
we
is?
don't know that much. Yeah. What are you thinking happened?
No, I thought it was like, they had the flashback. I thought he was like curious about where James, Lupin, and Wormtail were going. So he was following it. But how is that his fault? How is it a setup?
Okay, yeah, you're right. Maybe it wasn't.
I thought that they were going, and he's like, I want to figure out what's going on with them. So he's curious.
And he just
goes.
sneaky following
Well, he
them.
was, but James put it in his mind. James, not like Aquamancy or anything like that, but James gave him hints about the thing. He was like, oh, if you want to see like what Lupin does, like go on this path.
That.
Pretty sure that's what happened for that. And so James kind of put it in his mind, but James was the one that saved them. Or maybe Sirius did. I think Sirius might have put it in his mind. And then James was the one that saved him. But otherwise, Snape wouldn't have really known where to go or where to look. He did follow them, but yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, that was my take.
And we'll see
That's a
because,
good take.
again, there feels like there's going to be more to that story, or at least the fallout from the story, because we're only getting glimpses of it. And whenever we get glimpses, we get interrupted. Like Snape pulling Harry out of the pensieve.
Yes, there could be 7 books. So annoying.
I like that Dumbledore kind of walked through like summaries of each of the books. And he's like, this is what happened here, and you were great, and I messed up. Here's what happened here. All more great stuff. I should have told you then.
I do like how she like wraps up the books so that way you can wait another year for the next one to come out. Like if it was when she was releasing the books, because I'm like, all right, at least I feel satisfied with
for sure.
this
Like a
story.
super
She wraps it up a little bit, like
Yeah.
enough, but you're still dying to see what happens
Yep.
in the next one. So she does a great job
I
with that.
appreciate that.
Okay, next chapter. Last chapter in this book. The Second War begins. Quick summary of this one.
I didn't write anything,
Everyone
but
believes Dumbledore now.
Yeah.
And
then
Harry.
And the Ministry of Magic is announcing that Voldemort is back.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry is now praised for all his doings. And Luna Lovegood's dad sold the Daily Prophet the story.
For a nice little amount of money.
First-hand account.
Excellent.
Yeah, I know, that was
Does
great.
Harry get a check? He doesn't need the money. Who would get a check though? I feel like that can't just be the
I feel
Quibbler.
like Luna should get a piece of the pie.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
She's
The money should get spread around a little bit. A lot of people
Yeah.
contributed to that, and it was Hermione's idea, right?
I know.
Yep. And all the kids got healed, pretty much.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
all-
Right.
Took a little
so, like,
time, but
yeah. And then I don't know. There's some other things, but
lots
That
of
is
questions.
that is one of my favorite moments. I'll like share my favorite moment in these chapters already. But in the beginning, when they're all just hanging out in the hospital wing, because they were in the hospital wing. Harry was sitting on the end of Ron's bed. They were both listening to Hermione read the front page of the Sunday Prophet.
And that was great already. Sorry to interrupt you, because you're like, okay, she's like,
I know.
okay.
She's okay.
She's
You're
safe.
like,
Yeah,
okay,
as soon as I saw her
whatever
name, I was
yeah.
like, oh, thank goodness.
Whatever that purple flame was, she's not going to be harmed.
Yeah, sorry. Continue.
Ginny's, whose ankle had been mended in a trice by Madame Pomfrey, was curled up at the foot of Hermione's bed. Neville's, whose nose had likewise been returned to its normal size and shape, was in a chair between the two beds. And Luna, who had dropped in to visit, was clutching the latest edition of the Quibbler, reading the magazine upside down, and apparently not talking in a word. Hermione was saying. Sorry, it's just such a lovely moment. They're all like together talking about these things. Mm-hmm. Oh, it makes me so happy.
That's probably Christmas.
That was so happy.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so good.
Very happy moment.
Personal question to come out of Harry Potter just a little bit. How do you guys deal with grief?
That's a loaded
Sorry
question.
to drop that on you.
Whoa! That's a loaded question.
In the same way as Harry, like I'm kind of like Harry, but I like it more I like more isolation and aloneness than wanting to be with other people when I'm experiencing something really.
I process through that alone.
Yeah.
In my car. I don't know why. In the car, I've
It's
had
a good
lot
alone
of
spot.
screaming matches and things like that. But yeah, definitely anger and just alone.
Yeah.
And then it's good to like process with other people
Yeah, for
after
sure.
that. But like the initial,
Yeah.
I need to work through a lot.
There's always the battle of like
there.
you want to process it. I want to process it alone, but then like when do you come out of the aloneness and like be with other people? Because that's really for me where like the healing happens.
Mm-hmm.
You like move beyond that, not move beyond it, but you're like you have your community again and you're working through it with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever had anyone to blame. No unjust, unexpected death or grief. So when it's grandparents, things that are expected, it's a little different because it's sad, but it's just different. It's what's known. It's how every life ends, you know? And it's almost a blessing that it can be a long, full life ending with your family around you for just health reasons. So I think that's like, it's always been easier. I've never had anger in grief. So I like distracting myself. I think it's better to be with people, socializing, and then slowly opening the grief tap as I can handle it and then closing it again if I can't. I think that's simpler. And then when I'm ready, fully open it, let it all out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Probably both.
The whole shoulder movement.
Thankfully, it's been a while, so I can't really process that.
There's
But even like grief of like not someone passing away, right? Like not as severe grief. Would that be grief though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You can grieve a
Yeah.
lot of things.
It would be more like distractions, like make my schedule as busy as possible,
Yeah.
so I can't sit alone and process anything. But
And Harry's in that battle right now of like wanting to distract himself with certain things. Like in this group, I'm like, when he's in the hospital wing, it was so shocking to me because the chapter ends. You almost expect Dumbledore to dismiss Harry and say like, okay, go on your way, go to sleep now, like do whatever. Like in the previous book, The Way Out was like he gave Harry a sleepless or a dreamless sleep draft. And you're like, okay, now you don't get the moment where like Harry leaves, like has a restless night's sleep, but you get this like almost like a fade to black, then a fade back where he's now sitting with, and you're like, whoa, just that alone to me is a lot of growth for Harry. But then he's flirting between these two things because as soon as things happen, he wants to go see Hagrid. He goes to see Hagrid. Hagrid's saying some of the wrong stuff, which is like, you're like, oh, yeah, come on.
Classic.
So he goes and he's alone by himself for a little bit. So Harry's grief is interesting. What do you guys think of how Harry is grieving
that's
this?
like normal though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
You want to be with people, so you don't think about it, and then you're like, no, I'm tired,
Yeah.
and I want to go be alone.
Yeah.
And because we're in his mind, it feels so honest. It's like actually how he's feeling.
Yep.
I think he should be expressing it outwardly too, because that's part of it. But at least he's processing in his mind. He's like, he understands what he's going through. He kind of is like, he knows when he doesn't want to be talking to Hagrid. He needs to be alone. He's wandering around. He doesn't want to be with people. So I feel like it's hard, but grief always is.
Yeah.
So if he just keeps doing this for a little longer, kind of just getting through, like, it takes time no matter what. It just takes time, a lot of time. So I feel like he's doing the right things. It just stinks.
But he is also like a compounded like what is the word? Situations that just happened. Like Sirius just died, and now he's like, and now you have to kill Voldemort, or something is gonna happen to you. Like that's like a multifaceted like grief thing. Like I can't just be a teenager. I have to like figure this out. And on top of losing my only like family. And then it's like, and now I have to go back to my uncle and aunt's house. Like there's so many things that are like
so many layers. And I do think this is like, again, where I think his maturity shines so much in this book, is that he's dealing with that in a really mature way. Like this is something that I think is really good in this book, is his friends don't necessarily seek him out, but they're there for him. And I love that. Like he goes to Hagrid is there for him. When he comes through the barrier, it's so beautiful. Like all of them are just waiting for him, like there. His friends are just there waiting with him. Like he doesn't like go seek out Luna. The only person he seeks out in this chapter is Nearly Headless Nick. But then he goes and Luna is there posting things up. Then he goes, like everything is like his friends are there for him. Even on the train when Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle come in and they try to hex him. Ernie, the Hufflepuff crew, they come and destroy them. And it's like they're there for him. And I love that, because Harry needs to be able to process through things how he needs to process through things. But he knows that these people have his back now. And I think that's what helps propel Harry into dealing with this in a healthy way, I think. His friends are there for him. And it's such a beautiful ending to this story. It like wraps it up, but it makes me want to cry. But then he does destroy. I love the section where Malfoy looked angrier than Harry had ever seen him. He felt a kind of detached satisfaction at the sight of his pale, painted face contorted with rage. "You're going to pay," said Malfoy in a voice barely louder than a whisper. "I'm going to make you pay for what you've done to my father." "Well, I'm terrified now," said Harry sarcastically. "I suppose Lord Voldemort's just a warm-up act compared to you three. What's the matter?" he added, for Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle had all looked stricken at the sound of the name. "He's a mate of your dad, isn't he? Not scared of him, are you? You think you're such a big man, Potter," said Malfoy, advancing now, Crabbe and Goyle flanking him. "You wait, I'll have you. You can't land my father in prison." "I thought I just had," said Harry. So good. So good.
I wonder what actually happened to him, though. Will we find out?
Well, how are they keeping Azkaban guarded now without
the Dementors left, right?
Yeah.
That's basically what happened.
But then other wizards are just over there taking shifts on guard duty. Like, it can be done, also, certainly, but
I was thinking
intense.
Voldemort did something to besides going to prison. Could he
because he failed?
Punished him. Yeah.
Yeah, he might be scared to go back to Voldemort. All of his followers are very scared of him when they mess up. And they are messing up.
Bellatrix was...
She seemed terrified at the fountain. She was like...
Oh my gosh, she was...
As soon as Harry said that it was broken...
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I still don't get
she was freaking out.
What is the loyalty there? You're promised...
Yeah, you're kind of right.
Promised what? And like, is he even trustworthy?
Unless there's some kind of skewed love there. Not necessarily romantic.
Not like what we would think of.
But like loyalty love. Where like... when they did something wrong, it's like, oh my gosh, he's going to disapprove of me.
Yeah. I mean, this is like the age-old question. What's a greater motivator, fear or love? I feel like this is a huge byline in this book. And you follow someone that you fear. Doesn't make any sense, really, sometimes. But like these people are terrified of him. So rather than be his enemies, they're like, okay.
Let's side with you.
Yeah. The closer you are to danger, the farther you are from harm.
Nice.
That's the Lord of the Rings line. Sorry.
Why is he laughing?
And Danny immediately got it. As soon as I started saying it, Danny's like, keep going.
Yes. It's so rare to get some good Lord of the Rings quotes.
I know.
Rare? Not here.
Not here, exactly. That's why it's so satisfying.
Comes up
just in other parts of my life, you know?
Yeah, we talked about the mirror and all the devastation behind that. It says Harry's heart began to race. He remembered seeing his dead parents in the mirror of Erised 4 years ago. He was going to be able to talk to Sirius again right now. He knew it. He looked around to make sure nobody else was there. The dormitory was quite empty. He looked back in the mirror, raised it in front of his face with trembling hands, and said loudly and clearly, Sirius. His breath misted the surface of the glass. He held the mirror even closer, excitement flooding through him, but the eyes blinking back at him through the fog were definitely his own. He wiped the mirror again, clear, and said, so every syllable rang clearly through the room. Sirius Black. Nothing happened. Which is just, it's so devastating that he experienced this after.
Was that a mirror of Erised? No, right?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I think he's just making the comparison that he saw his parents in the mirror of Erised.
Okay.
So he was nervous about, like, yeah.
So I wonder if he actually would go back to the mirror of Erised if he would see Sirius.
Well, that's what I was thinking. After this whole thing, I thought he was going to go to the mirror of Erised to see him.
That'd be very
I
interesting.
thought he'd actually like get to communicate. But.
Yeah, right. But that maybe could help with grief.
Yeah.
Right.
Or be a crutch to it.
I
don't know.
Yeah, for sure. It could be a crutch.
You
do get this one, too. Professor Umbridge left Hogwarts the day before the end of the term. It seems she had crept out of the hospital wing during dinner time, evidently hoping to depart undetected. But unfortunately for her, she met Peeves on the way, who seized his last chance to do as Fred had instructed and chased her gleefully from the premise, whacking her alternately with a walking stick and a sock full of chalk. Many students ran out into the entrance hall to watch her running away down the path, and the heads of the houses only tried half-heartedly to restrain them. Indeed, Professor McGonagall sank back into her chair at the staff table after a few feeble remonstrances and was clearly heard to express a regret that she could not run, cheering after Umbridge herself because Peeves had borrowed her walking stick. Do you think that she's going to come back in this story? Is she done? Is she so emotionally and mentally damaged because she's like a shell of herself in the hospital, but then she leaves like this? Will she be back?
I think she'll be back in subtle ways. Nothing crazy, but so far it feels like in this book characters do hang around a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if she was never going to come back, I feel like she could have been left in the forest and that was the end of it.
For real.
Yeah, but we got to see a nice side of Dumbledore from that too.
Yeah.
So maybe it was all worth it. I do feel like she'll come back, but hopefully not in the same way she was before. Maybe her being a shell of herself is laying the groundwork for a blank slate, a clean canvas for a new personality. I don't know. I kind of felt bad for her by the end, but
yeah. But if she ever does come back, you know that McGonagall is not going to let her go easy. She's going to take her walking stick and just start beating her over the head with it.
And I think she'd be back in the story. I don't think she's going to be back at Hogwarts necessarily. But I could see her doing something. Not even the Ministry. I don't know how she would come back. I hope she's very distant, though.
When they go...
Oh, yeah, Ron
she, like,
and the...
freaks out
Yeah.
with the clock.
So
I know they're like
great.
messing with her like that.
Worse, like...
That's going to be their clutch. They're going to have just coconuts like Monty Python.
Yep,
Anytime
yep.
she comes near, they're just going to... Okay, this is one of the more devastating lines in it. Perhaps the reason he wanted to be alone was because he had felt isolated from everybody since his talk with Dumbledore. An invisible barrier separated him from the rest of the world. He had always been a marked man. It was just that he had never really understood what that meant. And yet sitting here at the edge of the lake, with the terrible weight of grief dragging him, with the loss of Sirius so raw and fresh inside, he could not muster any great sense of fear. It was sunny, and the grounds around him were full of laughing people. And even though he felt as distant from them as though he belonged to a different race, it was still very hard to believe, as he sat here, that his life must include or end in murder. I think he keeps on going. Sorry, this is just so good. It's so sad. He sat there for a long time, gazing out at the water, trying not to think about his godfather. Remember that it was directly across from here on the opposite bank that Sirius had once collapsed trying to fend off 100 Dementors. The sun had set before he realized he was cold. He got up and returned to the castle, wiping his face on his sleeve as he went. Oh my gosh. Even like his grief, this one line, The sun had set before he realized he was cold. Like, his grief is so overbearing and so overwhelming that he doesn't even know he's cold. He's so focused on his grief, which is just so sad. How do you think that
I've heard it, but I don't remember.
Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Ooh.
What is going to happen in the next book? Is Harry going to be so overcome by grief? Is he going to be like...
Revenge.
Yeah. Is he going to go on a revenge story? Is he going to be like depressed to the point of like suicidal?
I don't really see that being a good story. I feel like revenge is
I feel like this
story.
was
Yeah.
the dark book where he was struggling mentally with things.
The end of this book
I
doesn't
don't
leave
know.
it kind of... Because he has
It
such a
could go
community
either
around
way.
him. It could go either way, but he has such a community around him. You feel like he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I do. I feel like he's starting to go on the
Yeah.
upswing.
I feel like he's gonna want Dumbledore to teach him. Like, okay, I am ready now.
Private lessons with Dumbledore.
That would go a long way
I
for his
also maybe
occlumency.
because I know the cover and it looks like that.
What the? You cheater.
It's the
Unbelievable.
cover of the book. I have no idea if that's even true. It's
Yeah.
just Dumbledore and Harry Potter.
They're just hanging out.
They're just two characters.
Yeah.
It's actually a flashback to just this
But then
conversation.
it's funny because I'm like, the Half-Blood Prince. Is it really
Harry or Voldemort?
Well, it probably is Voldemort because, well,
Who's the Half-Blood Prince?
well,
Yeah.
because
Sorry.
like, isn't the Slytherin descendant, right? The prince.
Salazar Slytherin.
Yes. Is Tom Riddle the actual? Did we get that?
Wait, was that called
answer?
Prince?
I don't know.
No, the heir of Slytherin.
Right.
The heir.
But
So
it's
in my
still a
mind,
similar
it's-
vibe,
Yeah.
though. No, you're
Yes,
right. It
right.
really is.
So then in my mind, I was like, is this book about how to defeat the Half-Blood Prince, which would be Voldemort?
Wait, but
Or
he's
is
the Dark
is
Lord.
Harry the Half-Blood Prince. So what?
Who's the Half-Blood King?
You.
And who's the Half-Blood Prince? I'm like, is Prince like meaning future heir? Like will be on the throne? Like relative to Voldemort?
I don't know.
So a Half-Blood future Dark
'Cause
Lord
he's a
or
lord and you want to equal. So Prince, Harry's the prince. He's gonna become a lord.
like why Prince? That it just seems like an odd word. Have we
Well,
heard that word
only
yet? I
because
feel like
of
I even
the
said it
heir.
earlier
I guess
today.
I confused the two, but like the heir of Slytherin in my
Yep.
mind is very like it's royalty.
Mhm.
So Prince made sense to me. That the
yeah.
Half-Blood Prince would be maybe Voldemort.
Like he's the heir of Slytherin,
Yeah.
meaning
was that
his
finalized? Is
child
that
becomes
what we got from that, right? 'Cause,
The
In the
next
second book, that was
heir.
kind of
The-
confirmed because he's the one that is able to open the Chamber of
Yeah,
Secrets, and
okay.
this is the
So
heir of
that's what I
Slytherin is the one
thought.
that can do that.
But then it's funny because it was supposed to be a pureblood and he's not. Right?
He's
We-
not a pureblood.
Right, but I thought the heir was supposed to be,
He was supposed to be,
but
but
he's not.
yeah, that's what
It doesn't
that's the
matter.
thing you don't know. You don't know
Yeah.
why
Yep.
Voldemort is half-blood and not pureblood.
And we still don't know the story, the whole thing with his
Right.
mom and dad and the fighting and whatever.
just killed
It's
them.
still vague. We really
Yeah.
don't know. And we were speculating, maybe it was just me, that the story we've heard so far is not true because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't all line up.
What are you
Um,
guys hoping that the next book goes into?
I
Hmm.
hope. I think it would be neat to see Harry Potter wanting. Revenge is like a negative word in a way, or
Justice.
maybe yeah, that's better. Righteous justice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it would be neat to see Dumbledore like teaching him things from his wisdom in, his magical, ancient magic ways.
Mm.
So maybe he could teach Harry some of that. Maybe I would love to get more history on
Hmm.
Voldemort's childhood backgrounds. Maybe we get some of that. Maybe even like seeing the kids grow in their skill set too.
Yeah.
And because it's saying like what's the title, like the Second War or something.
Yeah, the second war begins.
So in my mind, I'm like, okay.
Wait, what does it say that?
The chapter
it's a
title for
chapter
38.
Title.
Nice. The Second War begins.
So in my mind, I'm like, maybe that war will be played out in the middle to the end of the next book to see. I don't know. I just feel like everyone needs to sharpen their skills, right? Everyone is now
Yep.
on alert, high alert, and now you have to like hone in on those skill sets, and maybe Harry will now have more people he could train. Well, except the Slytherins.
Dumbledore's army is real now.
Yeah.
It can get big.
Mm.
And
Dumbledore can lead
to
it.
see the Ministry of Magic's take with Dumbledore.
Yeah, like the battle lines are drawn now.
Or even now,
Good versus evil.
Yeah.
Is that a clean line, or is there
And,
going to be
like,
some
who else
weirdness?
is going to join in Dumbledore's army?
What's going to happen
like-
with giants? We already know where the
Yeah, that's
Dementors
what I was
went.
thinking too.
Is there anything else? Any other like?
I don't know. I said a lot, so it's your turn.
No, I'm all the stuff you said was great. I like feel like I'm just wondering what else we're gonna see. Like every time the world grows a little bit. So we saw a lot of the Ministry, which we had never seen.
Connection, the wands. I would love to learn more about that.
More about the wands,
Voldemort
yeah.
And Harry's wand.
True. Even just wand lore in general. Like Neville needs a new wand now. He was using his
Oh, you
father's
guys are
borrowed
obsessed with
wand.
I just want to know about the two
So,
of them.
well, yeah, no, but that too, though, because what will happen when they battle? How can Harry prepare to kill Voldemort?
Well, also, it's like, how do you open your mind? Because if he couldn't even do the whatever on Bellatrix, he couldn't even.
Yeah, he couldn't do a killing curse.
So, like, what does he have to do? And maybe Dumbledore can teach him, like, maybe you don't have to do that. You
I was
going to
say,
else.
Because like Dumbledore said,
Or what's worse
death is
than
not the
death.
worst. Yep.
So
So
maybe he
Harry
could
can learn
do something
more.
Maybe he can reverse him, make him a baby.
Throw him in the baby chamber. The hummingbird baby chamber.
You can't hurt a baby.
Go back
yes,
in
you can.
time. Time
Yeah, like
transfer.
how do you kill Voldemort? How does Harry do it now? And that's what I'm wondering what this book is going to be,
And
because
what
the
about-
last book would be a big
This
old
is
battle.
So random, but
But
Fox.
what's this one?
A phoenix can never die.
Is Dumbledore his Voldemort part Phoenix?
He can never die.
I'm just so curious. Well, he has unicorn blood in him too, and Harry's blood.
Yeah.
So what is that? You were obsessed with the blood thing.
Unicorn
Maybe we'll
blood,
Get answers about that.
Harry's blood. He needs
Maybe.
Fox's blood, and he's set.
Wait, but that also is interesting. Just bring up the blood thing, because he has some of Harry's blood. So can he now go into his uncle and aunt's house? Voldemort.
Whoa.
That is a very interesting idea. He does have some of Harry's blood.
Because he said part of the blood of your aunt, your
Mm-hmm.
mom, and you. But now.
So by nature, Voldemort keeps Harry safe.
Does Voldemort have the power of love surrounding him because of the sacrifice and because of the blood transfusion?
No, I mean, I don't know. But something with the blood, which you were saying.
It's very
Sorry,
interesting.
I didn't bring it up. Or I want to know more about Harry's parents.
So true. I want to get a lot of background.
About, like, what's Lily and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just realized they're both flower names.
Yeah. Nice. That's a good one. I actually never knew that. I never realized that.
Yeah. I'm curious where else we're going to go. How will the world get bigger?
Those are all the answers I want.
Will we go
Yeah.
to another country? Will we make it to Egypt finally?
You really want to go to Egypt?
I know.
Yeah, I do. This has been mentioned since book one. Or
Is that
Romania
on
at
the-
least.
Is that on the list to travel to?
Yes,
also?
yes, exactly. Because then we get to go on our podcast trip there after Scotland, which I was thinking when they were taking the Hogwarts Express back, we definitely have to go to London first and take a train up to Scotland, right? Like that, we just have to, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
it just gotta be.
Year?
Next year is the
Yeah.
year of trips for all of us.
It's gonna be great.
Boy, I gotta
I was gonna say I better start saving.
Yes, you guys better. Okay,
Well, we
Oh,
just
boy.
get Patreon.
you coming, Wes?
I know, exactly.
You
You
gonna
want to
join
support
us?
us on our trips? Oh, that'd be great.
You could join
It's
us.
the only way
We'll
I
tell
can
you
go.
our stops and you could join in on the fun.
hmm
Do you guys understand how ghosts work now?
No.
A little bit, yeah. I'm confused why they want to be ghosts, but
I still thought they had to die in Hogwarts. That's what I didn't understand. Like, why was Sirius
Oh, right.
going to show up there?
I don't think he ever
Yeah.
was. And the fact that
No,
Nick
I'm-
was so sure he wasn't going to be a ghost. But then Nick openly admits he is not really familiar with death, although
Yeah.
he's much more familiar than any human would be. But like he kind of was like, I'm not an expert. He almost regrets his decision, it seems. Like, can
Yeah.
ghosts
Yeah.
ever die then? Or they're just forever? They're locked
forever
in
ghosts.
in limbo. So he's like, he just knew. He's like, no, Sirius did not choose this. He moved on. He's gone.
Very few
Um,
wizards choose it. He even says that.
Yeah, so why? Like, Why did they choose it? Nick was almost hating on
But
himself a little
Then it was
bit.
interesting because I was like, Harry has a point. Like, he would do anything for Harry. So, like, why wouldn't he want to be in his life?
But you think the same for James and Lily too. Why did they not want to become ghosts? You could say that for anybody who truly loves someone.
That doesn't make sense because it's like, okay, you're dying, and so you're like, okay, I want to be a ghost, like while you're taking your last breath.
Right.
Like, I don't get it.
It's a weird. I don't know. Understand that concept. My understanding of it is like you're dead and you have like have a choice. You like, okay, do you have any unfinished business that like Moaning Myrtle? She wants to haunt this girl who killed her. So like her burning desire, she doesn't care about passing on into peace or whatever they think for death. She wants to like haunt this girl. It's her obsession. With Nick, it might be his obsession might be like joining the nearly headless hunt or the headless hunt, not the nearly headless hunt, the headless hunt. So that's his obsession. That's what he wants to go back to Earth to do. I think it might be different for Sirius. I don't exactly know, but I think his is like, yes, I love Harry, but my love will endure. I just have to wait till he dies, maybe, which is sad. But
well, yeah,
like, I'll see him again.
You're right. Like it almost feels like a transcendence. Like he dies, and then if he's presented with some afterlife choice, yeah, you could be a ghost, and you're gonna get what 100 more years with Harry. Yeah. Maybe he's like Dumbledore. You'll get 500 more years with him if he finds some elixir of life.
Yeah.
But in the end, Harry will die and you'll be trapped on Earth as a ghost. Or you get to go to the afterlife, whatever it is in Harry Potter world, and behind the veil, go to heaven, whatever it is. And then when Harry dies, you'll get to see him again. So all wizards who have left loved ones behind choose to go to the afterlife and wait. Maybe. Feels pretty intense. But that would be a way that you could kill Harry at the end of book 7 and still have a satisfying ending when he gets to be reunited with all those who have died. But I don't want that. Hope Harry lives. But after the prophecy, I'm like, ooh, it makes me think more and more there's a chance they're both going to have to die.
Yeah. And how do you think Harry would have felt? So there's two things that people brought up in chat, and they want to know. This is a really fascinating one. How do you think Harry's experience would have been if Neville was the one that Voldemort marked? Would their roles just have changed? Are Neville and Harry almost the same person, but like their experiences define them?
Can you ask it in a different way?
Because like, what if Neville and Harry swap? Like, what if Voldemort went after Neville's parents rather than Harry's?
But then the story is still in Harry's perspective or in Neville's perspective? Because that changes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So then Harry would just be like, I don't know.
And he would have already... Oh, no, he wouldn't have been with the Dursleys.
Well, I feel like... Because then Neville would be the famous wizard. So then that kind of plays in your mind, right? Like everyone's like, oh, it's Neville.
Would Harry's parents have been fine? Or would they...
I'm assuming they'd be the ones in St. Mungo's.
Yeah.
And Harry would still have to live with the Dursleys, I guess. The same way Neville had to live with his grandma.
But
so it really would be like an identical situation, but just reversed, possibly.
If he didn't have the mark on him, he could have lived with some other wizard family. Because didn't Dumbledore mention that? Like any other...
Oh,
you're right.
Maybe
you're
Sirius
right.
would have been alive because he wouldn't have went on the rampage trying to find Wormtail.
Right.
There could have been a whole heap of things.
Yeah, you're right.
Different story.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll write that
But
story.
I feel like Neville was...
Parallel universe. This
Season
is really the
1,
multiverse,
HBO.
I know.
But I feel like Harry is more stubborn and likes to poke at things, whereas Neville was more passive and quiet and not confident and like insecure. So like I don't know how that would
even from a young age Neville.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
His magic, he was like forced out of him.
Because like Harry was trying to like do things to his cousin. Like I can't remember his name. Like he was
Dudley.
playing, and like tormenting him and stuff. And I can't picture Neville.
Yeah, Neville was thrown out a window as hoping magic will burst.
Poor
from him.
kid.
I know.
Oof.
There are two other pretty devastating lines too. And this is the one that we were talking about with Ghost. But Nick turned away from the window and looked mournfully at Harry. He won't come back. Who? Sirius Black, said Nick. And so strong was his belief, Harry actually turned his head to check the door. Sure, for a split second, that he was going to see Sirius, pearly white and transparent and beaming, walking through it toward him. He will not come back, repeated Nick. he will have gone on. And then after this conversation is when we get Luna's conversation, which I think is really, really good. It says, Harry nodded curtly, but found that for some reason he did not mind Luna talking about Sirius. He had just remembered that she, too, could see thestrals. Have you, he began, who, has anyone you known ever died? Yes, said Luna simply. My mother. She was quite an extraordinary witch, but she did like to experiment, and one of her experiments, or one of her spells, went rather badly wrong one day. I was 9. I'm sorry, Harry mumbled. Yes, it was rather horrible, said Luna conversationally. I still feel very sad about it sometimes, but I still got Dad. And anyway, it's not as though I'll never see Mom again, is it? Isn't it? Said Harry uncertainly. She shook her head in disbelief. Oh, come on. You heard them. Just beyond the veil, didn't you? You mean in that room with the archway? They were just lurking out of sight. That's all. You heard them. Oh, Luna's the best. On a different note as well, do you think that Harry and Cho would be a good couple now?
No.
And would they get back together?
back
They've
to them.
experienced severe loss. They could cry together, commiserate.
They have terrible
Annoying.
communication.
Yeah, it does feel a little toxic.
Do you think they'd ever get back together? Do you think next book they're going to get back together?
No, I feel like it was funny because the whole Ginny broke up with her boyfriend.
I know.
And now she
Michael.
seems nervous around Harry.
Yeah, right?
And
Well,
I forgot
well,
one of
well.
the things.
Underline flirty question mark.
It must have been later in this chapter, so let me find it.
There's a question mark right there.
Well, that's what material were their jackets made of. It answered in the next line.
Danny's going into detail here.
Oh boy.
Where could that have been? It must have been in red in here. Let's see.
I feel like they would be
Living,
good
oh
now
my,
as
Daily
their
Prophet.
characters have grown.
Yeah.
Ginny's like a go-getter, like no nonsense, like tough.
Yeah. She could be good for Harry, but she's dating Dean now.
I don't
Ruined
remember
it.
who that is.
Dean is the other Gryffindor boy. The one who asked the centaur if Hagrid had mated them.
Oh gosh.
Yes, some rough questions, but
Oh, it was at the beginning. I think it was when they were in the hospital. Let me look. Let me find it.
Yeah.
When Luna was talking about going to Sweden to look for the Crumplehorn Snorkack, and then Hermione seemed to struggle with herself for a moment, then said, "That sounds lovely." And then Ginny caught Harry's eye and looked away quickly, grinning.
Yeah.
So, granted, they were just
Ooh.
laughing together, but
Yeah.
laughing together is that's some flirty stuff right there.
and like laughing together and like looking away, it's like a little
Yep,
crush.
because it's like an inside joke. Like they both know it's funny,
Yeah.
so they make eye contact and then look away giggly, but trying not to like. So it's a fine line. It might not be flirty. It also could just be they find Luna a little ridiculous, but it was certainly playful. But Dean, that's a curveball. Didn't see that one coming.
Just came out of nowhere.
She's like a
So
little
go Dean.
guy. I know. That's why I like her, I think.
Yeah.
A little tomboy.
Yeah, she's great. When the ticket inspector signaled to Harry, Ron, and Hermione that it was safe to walk through the magical barrier between platforms 9 and 10, however, he found a surprise waiting for him at the other side. A group of people standing there to greet him, who he had not expected at all. Harry nodded. What's his summer experience going to be like? How is he going to come back to Hogwarts?
I hope this was the turning point, and that he has new resolve. He's bringing books with him. He's going to write his letters to his friends. He's going to be responsible. He's going to be reading and studying and working hard to perfect some magic. I wonder if he'll... Wait, are you allowed to do magic outside of Hogwarts now?
Mm-mm.
No, he still can't. He's still
He's still
locked in. It's
underage.
not an age thing. Or it
No,
is an
it
age
is.
thing, but he's still
underage.
under.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
I was
it's
thinking that was
different
fifth
now.
year.
Voldemort's around.
I know,
feel
right?
Like it
Yeah.
should be fine. Everyone practice.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Right.
So-
this is a different situation now.
emergency.
Form the militia.
Especially Harry. You
Yeah.
do your thing.
Right.
Yeah, for real.
He should have special permission from Dumbledore to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants at this point. And Dementors attacked him last year before they were all wild, and now they're all on the loose. So I feel like he should be. But I actually think he might do the right thing now and spend his summer wisely. I'm not sure, though. I'm afraid he could also do the opposite and spend the summer kind of still processing grief and not doing much, similar to last year. Wait, who won the House Cup? Not like ours, but like in the actual.
You kind of guess Slytherin. It's like this one is.
They don't say it outright.
Yeah, they don't say it outright,
Okay.
but they don't have They're Harry says when they get gems back in there. Is that it was respectable.
Okay, nice.
It wasn't
it wasn't zero anymore. It's like, all right, at least we're.
Yeah,
okay.
they
But they didn't
had
win.
some, but they didn't win. Yeah,
50 seems awfully low for.
I know.
But at the same time,
for learning the whole
I don't know.
entire wizarding world that Voldemort had come back. I'm like, we gotta go. Give them like 200 each. They should just outright win.
yes.
Right.
You agree, Wes?
What's up, bud?
What do you think he's gonna do this summer? How's it gonna be?
What do you think? I kind of like I was thinking around the same thing that you were thinking.
So you're thinking a good direction that we're gonna be like proud of Harry when we start the next book.
Although I can't really picture him like studying, but it would be great if he did that, practicing,
I also
being really ready for the next year. But also, it's like, why are they going back to school?
I know. Doesn't that feel so weird? Like a summer, like it's like, don't worry, Voldemort won't attack in the summer. It's fine.
Have,
just
like,
wait.
a year off. And like we're all gonna meet as the Order of the Phoenix, and we're going over things because we need everyone on board. Everyone needs to protect themselves. We need to learn how to protect Harry. We need to learn how to give him the skills, like Tonks, Mad Eye Moody, Lupin. They just come to visit like every so often. We're gonna practice this because I'm really good at this, and you're gonna learn. Like, I don't know. That's what I think should happen.
Yeah. Like this should be a whole new thing. The old rules are out the window, and the
Dursleys
something
just
new.
have to let magic happen. Like, all right.
And the Ministry too. Just like underage, who cares? Special circumstances.
And then even on top of this, who is like they need a good defense against the dark arts teacher next year. Who is going to be their defense against the dark arts teacher? Is Dumbledore going to step into that role?
He'd be amazing. He actually should. That would make the most sense.
What if Snape?
He lets Snape get his glory.
He could do potions and
he could do both.
Double up.
Why would he let Snape though?
Why hasn't he
already?
Before?
Do you think Snape would be a good defense against the dark arts
he's teaching
teacher?
He'd be like the perfect person in his meetings, and now he can't do certain spells.
Or would be great, but who? Tonks is too young.
Honestly, real Moody should teach it.
Yeah.
Because fake Moody did a decent enough job.
I loved Lupin, but because
yeah,
of the
he is great.
Thing.
But maybe let him come back. Lupin was a good teacher. He was the best one, probably.
Also, all these half-breeds, I'm like, I would love to learn more about them, and like, can they, in their like animal form or whatever their form, trump a wizard in their magic? Like, is there a way? I know we talked about this one.
Right.
Lupin was a werewolf thing, but like,
half-breed. Is that it's half-blood is distinctly.
What if Lupin bit Voldemort as a werewolf? What would happen?
Then Voldemort would become a werewolf.
No,
Werewolf
no,
Voldemort.
but would that be bad, or
that
would
be
terrifying.
even worse?
Huh? Wow, you're right.
What?
That's where we get Twilight. That's a Sirius spinoff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because then I guess it would.
If he could get close enough, I'm.
Become werewolves. Yeah, it's worse. I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
Very interesting position we're in now.
And where's Wormtail?
Just hanging with all those other Death Eaters, doing.
Yeah, you're
weird
almost curious
stuff.
why he wasn't there. Is he like just too cowardly to come? Is he not really that
definitely.
powerful
That's
of
like
a
his
wizard?
character.
I'm in rat mode, just like chilling. He never stepped up.
With his fake arm.
Ooh yeah,
Bionics.
powerful
that's right.
bionic arm.
All right. Any more points in this before we have? I've more than just our normal wrap up questions. So we're gonna go on for a little bit. But any other points here? We'll be quick about these. These can be rapid fire questions.
Ooh, nice.
Because these are some that people want to know from you guys.
I like it.
What?
Jen
Even if
goes-
you didn't have a face, John knew that you were
Yeah.
hiding the face. It didn't have to
No,
be.
because all of a sudden
John's
he's
like,
don't worry. It's
yeah,
gonna
but
be
we're gonna
rapid
make
fire
fire.
questions. And I was like, what did my face say? No, it's good.
Okay, let me look. Actually, right now, let's go through the typical. Actually, hold on. Let's hold off. Let me read some of these questions to you first. Let's do these, and then we'll do the final wrap up questions. I gotta find some of these questions. There's a lot of them, so we're gonna get a lot of questions right now. Rapid fire.
Go.
I'm trying to find some good ones that I can ask first. Okay. Do you think Book 5 would change if Dumbledore was just truthful with Harry from the beginning, and was Dumbledore not right to not tell Harry until he did? Dumbledore kind of suggested he's not right to do it, but how would it have changed Harry's perspective through the rest of the books? Even if you told him from the beginning, from book 1.
I'm not sure there would be that many books.
Would have solved all their problems. Maybe. But frankly, we'll never know. And
I feel like he would have just been more prepared, though.
maybe, but could it have been the opposite, where like it would have been very detrimental, would have messed with him mentally? He wouldn't have been able to like function well, or he would have been too fearful. Like, would he have risen to the occasion? Will he even rise to the occasion now? We assume so. We hope so. Even this summer, we hope he like is reinvigorated for this fight against Voldemort. But if he knew when he was 12, 13, how would that have impacted him? I tend to agree with what Dumbledore said, but I'm just not so convinced.
Life,
yeah,
Not
but is that
really
good
been
as a kid?
No.
I know.
Yeah.
As a kid, he's like protecting his innocence in a way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he should have told him in first year or second year or third year. Maybe just the beginning of this book would have been okay. Like, he was ready. Probably, like Dumbledore said,
But
he might have been ready
could've-
earlier.
But he could have also just like implied some things. Like, when you're older, there are things I want to tell you. There's
Yeah.
a prophecy that is out there. Just like
Yeah.
leading
Oh, he
up.
would have went looking for that
I
right
know,
away.
that's true.
Well, even though
But that's fine. At least he knows, and he could like search himself
Yeah.
instead of being so in the dark.
Well, it's weird because Dumbledore said that, though, at the end of the first book. He said, Harry, ask me anything and I'll answer. Harry did. He said, I can't tell you yet. And
So
then
annoying.
when he's going through the
Oh,
story,
yeah.
at book 2, he kind of summarizes it. And Dumbledore's like, if Harry had asked me then, I'm not sure if I would have told him. Or maybe he said I wouldn't. Or maybe he said he would have. I don't remember what Dumbledore said. But the idea that Harry never asked again. And if Harry had been a little bit more like, tell me, I think he would have. But like we've kind of said, Dumbledore is a little distant. He's not that accessible. It's not just like, where's Dumbledore? Oh, hey, Dumbledore, 1 second. Can we talk?
And especially this book, he almost felt like
He's
Dumbledore was
gone.
against him.
Yeah.
Since he wouldn't look at him.
Yep. And that just feels strange. The whole thing doesn't seem fully fair. But I don't know that it would have made like all the difference.
All right, who's the worst villain in this book? Right now, at this point, who's the worst villain?
Bellatrix.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Umbridge, meh. Voldemort.
Danny still loves Umbridge. You guys
Yeah.
are glad Sirius died. Danny
I'm glad
loves
Umbridge is safe. She came back. I think it's close. Voldemort's still the big evil, the big baddie.
But in this book,
Yeah, in this book,
Voldemort didn't
Bellatrix
do
in those
that.
final moments, she seemed like pure evil in ways that like
Seems
even
unhinged.
yes, even Voldemort didn't seem this like crazy and unpredictable, and she was like just saying weird things, and I was like, whoa, this lady is nuts. So yeah, I'll say final answer. Bella.
That's Twilight.
Another
There you go.
When he
crossover.
We're
called
getting
her
more into
Bella, I was
Twilight.
like, wait, what?
That's because she's like a pet. Probably that's like a nickname.
Hmm.
Do what I say.
Are they dating? Voldemort and Bella.
It gave me that vibe a little bit.
Really?
When he like first came in, but she was so scared that it would certainly be an unhealthy relationship. I just, again, we talked about like the morals of it all. What do Death Eaters think about relationships and loyalty, and like if she's already married to Mr. Lestrange, then could she be dating someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's low on the totem pole
That
in
is-
MRL.
Yeah.
That's how it kind of feels like. So then I'm like, yeah,
She can have multiple husbands.
some blurred lines in the Death Eater world. I don't know. But that seems weird. I don't think Voldemort could. That's certainly not in a healthy way.
He doesn't have time for anything outside of killing people, I feel like.
I know.
He doesn't have emotions. He just wants to kill. Power.
Yeah.
Something is
maybe,
a quickie, then maybe. But no relationship.
Well, that might be what it
Different
is
kinda
in
quickie.
Death Eater world. We don't know.
What is up until this point in all the books, all 5 books? I need you to rank all 5 books because you finished this book now. So like, does your ranking change? And then give me a top 5 list of your favorite characters so far. Let's do favorite characters so far.
You want to answer first?
Top 5.
Yeah.
All right, nice. I'll wait.
Good. Books, characters.
Let's
You
do
don't care
characters so
okay,
far.
Character. Oh gosh. Well, the kids are changing in rankings for me.
Yeah.
I can't rank them. I just know that Ginny has moved up for me because I'm like, oh, you're getting more of her personality. Luna is great too, and Neville. So like those 3 that were like kind of not mentioned are like moving on up. I still like Hermione a lot.
Yeah, she's
'cause she's
the
like
best.
the level-headed, smarty pants, and I love her. And then I like, maybe it would be like Hermione, if we're going with the kids, right? Hermione, Ginny, Ron, Luna. Did I say Neville?
Yeah.
Neville could be a little bit bumped
Wow, is
up.
Harry down on your list?
Yeah. I don't know, because the book's about Harry, so
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, yeah.
It's almost like understood.
Yeah,
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 like yeah.
It's kind of
he
tough.
kind of annoys me still.
Yeah.
Mm.
What about the adults? Do you have any adults in that list? Is
Mm.
Tonks or Dumbledore or
I know.
there's so many characters too that she introduced. It's actually hard.
Yeah, I know, it's so hard. Like the Order of the Phoenix. I love Lupin, and Sirius was good too, but obviously didn't react.
No, he was good.
I guess I just like people that like help like solve problems,
Yeah.
not create more problems.
Hmm.
And I don't know if Sirius did that exactly.
I mean, he had many flaws.
Yeah, he certainly did.
Yeah.
My hurt came more from Harry's hurt.
Yeah, so true.
Toward the-
Yep.
Yeah. The Weasleys were great. I don't know. Tonks is cool. Lupin.
It's hard to choose.
So tough.
Hagrid was a fun character. Dumbledore I just liked recently because we got more answers out of him. He was more vulnerable. I feel like he's going to be different now and maybe be more helpful and more transparent with Harry maybe in the next book. So like I'm hopeful for that. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Not
That was,
really in
that was
order,
more than
but-
5, but that was great. I saw the
I can't even like
Because it's so hard to
It's
actually
hard.
rank, you know?
I know
I
it
have
really
to like
is.
process it out loud anyway.
Yeah.
But they all give something different.
Yeah,
To the story
it's an
too.
impossible question. So I'm sorry, guys.
I'll say
But
even
answer it.
including Harry, I'm going to go Dumbledore, McGonagall,
Oh,
Harry,
shit, I forgot someone.
Hermione.
Should have had you go first.
I'm
so I
going to
could
say
think.
Neville.
Ooh.
Those would be my top 5. And I know I left Ron out. I love Ron, but it just feels like he wasn't as big of a character.
Where's Ginny?
Yeah, she's not top 5 for me. She's a great character, but like
Her too.
she's trending up. But she's been
Yeah.
a nobody for 3 books, and then like, or all right, she was a little bit of a role to play in there.
She got them out of the Umbridge's office.
Yeah, she's
without,
great. She's
like-
great in a lot of ways, but I just in like when I did my ranking in my head, it was just like the size of the character. Like Dumbledore, even though we don't get a lot of page time with him, he's just so big, and when he comes in, he's just a commanding presence. And same with McGonagall. We didn't get a lot of time with McGonagall, but she's so like comforting to me that I'm like, she's just important.
Oh my gosh, she was so funny too with Umbridge.
I
this
know.
book.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
great. So great.
But like it changes a lot actually, and a lot of people are trending. Like Ginny, she's definitely the trendiest character right now. Because by the end of this, I'm like, oh, Ginny's awesome.
Yeah, you go from like this book, you don't really know her, and then you're like, she's the coolest. She's so great.
And Fred and George too. They skyrocketed in this book.
Oh yeah,
Right.
and Luna just
Yep.
appeared.
Right
and
at the
now
end
she's
here.
somebody, too.
Yeah.
Now I know what that character is.
And even some of the minor characters that are in Dumbledore's army, they're really like they're stepping up. They're starting to become like, oh, I could see if they do certain things in the next book that they would become major characters or like really, really cool.
Kristen, who's your top 5? Doesn't have to be like ranked. It's just
No, I know.
generic
say
top
all.
5.
No, but I'm trying to think like who I like, not necessarily feeding into the story, because like kind of like what you said, how big they are, what they feed into the story. I would kind of have to agree slightly.
And you can only answer it up until this
But
point in the
then-
book.
No, I know. But I'm also thinking like, because of my personality, because I'm like a Chandler Bing. I love Lee Jordan.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
yeah,
like,
right.
Throw him in every now and then.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites.
He just brings such levity to any situation. It's
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna go over 5 because I love McGonagall. I love Mrs. Weasley. We didn't get much of
So true.
her in this book, but like, I love her.
Mm-hmm.
Luna, Neville, that 3, and Ginny. They like
Yep.
skyrocketed. What am I at? Over 5 already?
You guys
Probably.
like didn't mention Ron, one of my favorites.
No,
I
I feel
like-
bad.
I love him.
I really
He's
do.
like not in the top 5, but for me,
Is he for you? He's in top 5? Yeah.
easily, yeah.
It kind of depends. Tomorrow I might say the same thing
Exactly,
looking
yeah.
back
And it
because
depends on the
Hermione,
chapters.
I'm just like, she's great. She was in my top 5. She was number 4. But
She just, like,
tomorrow I
helps.
might not even think about her because Ron is also so
But
consistent.
Ron's,
so
comic
like
relief in a way, and
Right?
Then,
Yep.
And
Which
then
I
Hermione
love that.
is like a problem
Common
solver.
sense,
so
yeah, yeah.
that's
but
why I
Ron's got
her.
like
Yeah.
the purest heart and he just dives in. He is so loyal.
Hermione drives the
but-
plot of the book.
Yes.
She's
yes.
she's like, okay, let's figure this out. Ron is like interjected as like having fun throughout the
Comic,
book. Like
yeah.
remember to like enjoy these books, you know?
But also to me, I'm like, I feel like the trio just is a given.
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
yeah. You could almost like leave them out because they're just like
Yeah.
they're so great. All of them are.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't just choose 5.
Hmm.
That's impossible.
Someone asked you, Lee Jordan is graduating, so who's gonna commentate Quidditch now?
No.
Who would be a good commentator
Ginny.
for Quidditch? Ginny, but she's playing.
Oh, she's playing. Never
Oh,
mind.
respect.
Luna.
Oh my
Oh
gosh,
my goodness, that would be ridiculous.
that would be great. Oh my gosh.
So unfiltered. And it
That
would
would
be
be, yes, that would be fantastic.
I want to see the Creevy brothers do it
Ooh,
together.
That would be so
Because they would
good.
be
What a
Harry
dynamic
loyal, you know.
duo.
Oh, speaking of that, is Harry going to be able to play again now that Umbridge is gone?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, good.
What a duo.
But that would be a funny duo for them to do it.
Going back, I think my top 5: Ron. I love Neville at this point. I love Luna. Luna wouldn't be in until the last chapter.
Yes.
In the last chapter, I think she gets propelled into the top 5 for me. Dumbledore up until this point is great. More human, more flaws, but I still love him.
Yeah.
I think Hermione is probably in there too. What?
Wait, but that was not
It's
Harry?
like-
Or
I mean, Harry's again like a given. Like he's
Right,
such a
yeah.
byline through the story that I gave
It's
you
named
slack
after
for not
him.
having Harry, and I don't have Harry in mind. So sorry. I think he's just such a given in these that you like,
Yeah.
he's always in there. This whole story is about him, but I like these other characters. How they like help and love and support Harry.
yeah.
Favorite rank the books. Where does this book rank in your power rankings?
I really liked it.
I feel like I keep going. Like
Hmm.
whatever book I'm reading is like my top
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Although I like
Huh.
Prisoner of Azkaban. I
was
think it
gonna
would
say,
be
I
like
feel like that one's one of my
5,
tops.
3, 4, 2, 1.
Okay.
I feel like I'm
4,
almost the
3,
same.
5, 1, 2.
Wait, 4?
Yeah, I liked
You
4.
liked
Yeah.
the last one.
Yeah, I just think it was a really compelling, easy read and lots of like twists and turns.
It did have-
And it would be, and part of my ranking is how much I would want to read it again.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like I could read 4
Wait,
again right
I'm
now.
getting confused.
Now that we know how it ends, I want
Yeah.
to see how that played into the whole story. This
You're
book,
gonna
I
become
understand why
John.
people wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to read some of this. All the Umbridge stuff,
Yeah, that's
the emotional
true.
torture. Like,
Maybe you're right.
this would be like a rough read. And 2 and 1 are really similar. The 1 is just so charming. Again, I always say this because it's the first. But like 1 and 2, they're not that different to me.
Yeah.
But I
Was
would love to
4
read 1
when
again. I
we
could read it in a
get
day, I'm
Tom
sure.
Riddle's background, was that 4?
I think that was 3.
Tom Riddle's background?
Which one started with the
There's
big
2.
chapter one?
Oh, 2, because that was the
Tom
chamber.
Riddle's background is 4. But we knew about Tom Riddle in book 2. We got a
Are you
little bit of
talking
his
about the big
background.
one?
The chapter 1.
The
That
chapter
was
1.
book 4.
Oh, the intro. Yeah,
So then
yeah.
I thought that was
Start.
I thought that was book 3.
Oh, okay.
But then I love the story of like Sirius Black too.
Yep.
But yeah, Umbridge is a pain in the butt. Maybe I just forgot about it.
And that's why it would be hard to read this again. Not like hard, but just like
This is a hard reread. Yeah,
like kind of weighs
yeah.
you down a little. When
I
you're
do
reading
love
some
this
of
as a
that.
reread, but it does weigh you down. This is definitely the hardest one to get through for Harry's
I would
emotions.
just skip to the end.
Yeah, Harry's emotions. Umbridge is still in it. But it's such. I feel like this is her most mature book.
Yeah.
In a weird way, how she's still able to hook you and keep you reading, even though you hate things that are happening in this book.
Yep.
That's true.
A rough question.
Oh boy.
Actually, wait. Where are you ranking up until this point?
It could change like in 5 minutes, but I want to say 3, 4, 5, 1, 2,
Okay.
maybe,
Respect.
or like 4, 3, 5, 1, 2, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you said?
Yeah. It's a great ranking. Yeah. But like you said, I could change my mind tomorrow.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and if I were to go back and read another book, I'd read 1 anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll wait till we're done. I feel like
One
that's,
has
you
like
know, I
magic
can't go back
to it for
yet.
sure. Yeah. We'll do a reread.
And it's so short in
What's
comparison
your
now.
ranking?
I have different rankings for different parts of this. Like,
Okay, you could change the rules.
yeah, I know.
We have
Well,
to
because
answer
I know the
according to
end, like-
parameters.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a first time reader, I had books that impacted me. The first time I read them, my ranking for the first time I read them, like all the way through when I finished the 7th book, it was probably something like book 4 might have been my favorite. 4, 6, 7, 3, 5, 1, 2. I loved 4 when I read it. I was obsessed with it because that was like in the middle of like Harry Potter mania. But now that I've reread them, 5 is one of my favorites. I don't know if I would say it's the favorite right now. I think 6 is still my favorite, but it's so good, guys. It's so good. And then books that just like have had an impact on me. I think 3 might have had the biggest impact on me. I remember I reread that for like the 5th time, and I was like, this book is masterfully written. It's perfect. It's so good. The pacing of book 3 is so good. Same thing. The pacing of all these books is just on point. The rough thing about 5 is the pacing just seems off, but I think that's for a purpose because Harry's pacing seems off.
Yep.
So I think she matches that really good with it. Okay, the rough question. Cedric has died in the 4th book. Sirius has died in the 5th book.
Oh gosh.
If there's going to be a character who dies in the next book, give me top 3 people you think might die in the next book.
I feel like someone in the order. Like Tonks, Lupin, or Mad-Eye Moody, along with a kid.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Moody?
Tonks, Moody, or Lupin. Because any one of them could go.
Clearly you were
Sorry.
listening.
I was on chat. You like doing either rankings of favorite.
But then one of the kids.
Sorry.
That's the thing. But like, which kid would die?
No, not Neville.
Luna?
That would be hard. Actually, it could be either one of them.
No, it's a painful no.
Those would be.
The trio, one of the trio? No.
No.
They have to stay to the end, right?
Yeah, that can be a final moment or something, if at all. That's a tough one. I think more than one person will die.
Well,
And
it's a war now, I feel like.
exactly. From both sides, I think we're going to see people dying. I just don't know who and what those moments are going to be like. Ooh.
Malfoy.
Which Malfoy? Mrs. Malfoy. Nah, that wouldn't mean
Junior.
anything. Lucius.
Be kind of nice. He's in prison right now. Maybe he dies in the prison break or something like that.
Does Voldemort kill anyone for the the mess up?
I would
Because
think
people on both sides are going to die, right? So
Yeah.
like, who's going to die on Voldemort's side? Who's going to die
I
on the
could see
good
him
side?
killing whoever he wants, whenever, even if they were loyal to him at one point.
He wouldn't kill Bellatrix, though, right?
Why? Because he called her Bella.
Well, I don't know. I think he actually
She got a little
could. She
thing
was
going on.
scared, like there would be, or maybe he doesn't kill people, but there are other consequences.
What if there's a Star Wars moment where they're in a battle and Voldemort goes, "No, Harry, I am your father."
That's why he's the prince.
Yeah, there you go.
Always have to.
What, your
Star
mom
Wars.
had like, an affair
Yeah, we
with
have
me?
to. It's a rule.
No one heard that.
What'd you say?
Sorry, say it again.
I said what? Lily had an affair with Voldemort.
He
boy,
is
she's like
sexy.
you.
And then she chose James, so that's why Voldemort's going after him.
Oof.
There's the backstory of revenge.
Ouch,
Mm,
that would be tough.
that'd be intense.
Um,
Voldemort is much older than her.
Who are people who are
Daddy issues.
Yeah. Ugh.
untouchable that would never die?
In the next book, Harry.
Okay.
And I think Ron and Hermione too.
Dumbledore.
Okay.
I
So
think
Ron,
Dumbledore
Harry,
also
Hermione,
survived this book,
Dumbledore.
Maybe Dumbledore. Although, well, yeah, maybe. By the last battle,
Oh, yeah.
he can't be there. He has to be like locked away somewhere, or like.
Dead. How can he
Maybe.
die of old age?
Ugh!
Do you think
Not
Could you
Dumbledore.
imagine if he
What?
died of
So
old age?
disgusted.
He can't die of old age. Actually, I hope he does long after the books are done. But like not in the books. You know what I mean? Like he could die of old age in 20 years or something.
Who would you guys be most devastated over if that person died? Besides,
Dumbledore,
like-
Hermione.
I think Neville would be pretty tough, and McGonagall would be tough.
Yeah.
I could see McGonagall dying.
Man.
I forgot about her.
And
What
Hagrid.
about Hagrid?
Ugh, that
That'd be
would
tough.
stink.
I
Ugh.
don't want anyone to die.
Yeah. Jen, before you
Yeah.
said, who you say? Dumbledore and...
Hermione.
Oh,
Those two. Would
Imagine.
Be a rough.
do you think that she'd be so bold to
Ron.
kill one of the trio?
Bellatrix?
No.
JK.
That JK, she would kill...
I mean, I've seen in other movies.
I don't think she would. I'm not sure. Huh.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I think she could.
I feel
I
like,
feel like she's been safe, and then now it's like the end of the series, so we can go wild.
yeah, I feel like some of the other Order people can definitely be killed. Almost not like throwaway, but like we like them, but not that much. So I feel like in the next book, she's going to bring some of those characters up so we like them and kill them. Tonks, Moody, Lupin. I think those would be like easy kills in a sense. Curveballs that we have mixed feelings about. Uncle Vern. Petunia. Maybe not Dudley. That seems harsh.
Okay.
I don't know.
On another note for the even this question, what do you think that there are characters that are going to be either redeemed or irredeemed or go bad? Are there any bad characters who are going to go good? Are there any good characters who are going to go bad? Give me one person each because we're going to go rapid fire.
Malfoy.
Ooh.
Remember I brought that up before?
Yeah, I remember we
redemption
talked
arc for
about that.
Malfoy.
Which Malfoy? Like youngin.
Junior, because I wonder if he sees how his dad was treated when he like messed up.
Wow. Harry does not treat him like someone who can be redeemed.
Yeah.
But that's such an interesting idea because imagine if like people like Harry and Dumbledore treated him like he had the potential for deep good,
Yeah.
but instead they always like Harry at least
Man.
always treats him like he's evil to the
What a
core.
question.
But like what if you treated the evil people with love? You know, like truly trying to
I
beat
can't
them
do
with
that in
love.
life,
Like
so-
yeah, that is so ridiculous. Of course these teenagers can't do that. But what if they could?
I know.
Because that's like what we're talking about. Like, evil cannot possess love. Like, that is the great weapon, you know, and Dumbledore's kind of saying they have. So what if Harry really tries to channel that and becomes a little hippy dippy, comes back trying to love some people into turning? I would love to see that with Malfoy. Maybe even
Yeah.
Lucius a little bit. Lucius turns good. Mrs. Malfoy stays evil. Ooh, that'd be a showdown.
Oh, man.
Only because it's like out of fear, because he didn't really go after finding Voldemort. Remember, that was said like, you didn't come looking for me, and he's like, I will make up for it or something. And then I wonder if that changes. But
Almost like he wants an
I
out.
don't know.
Oh man, I don't know who else could go
And then
bad.
Good to go bad. I mean, Percy already went bad, right?
Kind of, but then is he bad anymore? Because
I
the
don't know.
Ministry is
Go
good
good?
now. But we don't know. Is Fudge gonna go bad? He's got his own little army.
Well, that's the question. You say the Ministry is good now, but could they still be bad? Could Voldemort infiltrate it and just completely take it over?
Yeah,
I
sure there's people
think,
in there.
but Voldemort
There
has
are
such a
people
weird
in there.
loyalty thing that being loyal to him when you won't say that you're loyal isn't really true loyalty to him. Like he would rather, or maybe, I don't know if he really would, people like Bellatrix would say that the Dark Lord would rather you get thrown in prison and never renounce him than to like be undercover or whatever Lucius was saying. You know, like it feels like he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't like infiltrate it with like the sneaky stuff as much. It feels like he wants loyalty that is spoken outright. And so far that hasn't, I don't know, I have a hard time picturing sneaky loyalty. I feel like Voldemort wants bold loyalty.
What if Snape goes bad? We still don't really know where he is.
We don't even.
Yeah,
we
like
don't know
if he's
good or bad right now.
he could be a double agent, I guess.
I still want to believe he's good.
Yeah, same.
All right. This is a really, really tough question because it's going to call back everything in Harry Potter. But what has been your favorite moment so far in all of the books?
In all of the books. Wow.
I don't even know if I have an answer to that question, to be honest. That is such a difficult question.
I love the information ones, right?
Yeah.
But
I feel like you love the first chapter of the fourth book.
yeah, that was one of my
That was
favorites.
such a good moment.
Because it's like, yes, answers. Even this second last one, I'm like, okay, we're getting more answers. But that was really good. Yeah, I just like answers to like the mystery. And less about like the characters.
That's where I live.
I know. That's what
I'm
I
actually
was
really
like.
curious when you reread it, what you're going to think of a reread of
You
these.
think
Yeah,
I'm
you're right.
rereading?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you will,
The
Jen.
podcast must live on.
He's like, that's happening.
Because
You
then
want
like
to or
the
not.
mysteries aren't the same,
Yeah.
so you'd be
Right.
reading for different reasons.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why you're like, I would never reread.
Yeah, because now I know the answers. I don't know. I guess I've never been.
But
to,
then
like,
when
the
you reread, you
character
could look-
traits and stuff.
Yeah, you could look and figure out where you missed certain things and where she put things in that are answers to.
I
You can
mean,
look for
That would be
foreshadowing.
fascinating.
Being prideful of me, I figured out a few things. So.
Yeah, for sure.
There are
For
no
sure.
mysteries to you. Detective Jen on the
Just kidding.
case.
I'm not.
Danny, Kristen, what are your favorites?
Oh man, it's tough.
Trying to dig into the trenches here.
Honestly, I think for me, maybe this shows my sad and depressed personality, but I think the end, when I reread the end of this book this time, maybe just because it's so fresh, it might have been my favorite parts of the book I had read so far on this reread. Just the whole last two chapters, 37 and 38. The range of emotions that Harry's experiencing, how his friends and his people that he loves are coming around him and helping him. I teared up like 4 or 5 times in certain lines just reading these two chapters. I think they're so moving and so well read or so well written. I think they're just masterpieces. I love them so much.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm going to go with the last moment in this book with Harry leading.
Yeah.
Turning around and walking away because he knows, like you were saying, he knows that everyone is there. He like understands Dumbledore's distance. If there is going to be distance, he now knows why. Not that he isn't like against him or something. But I did like that he walked away in confidence. Like, I'm going to lead them now instead of him like sulking behind Dursleys. I don't know. There's probably a lot more moments that I like, but
It's a good one though.
I'll go with that.
So good.
I love the Dumbledore moments. So in this book, reading the end where Dumbledore comes in and takes control, and when he left his office when they were coming to like arrest him or whatever they were going to do there, I think one of those would probably, the end of this book would be probably my favorite. But thinking back, there were a lot of other moments that feel close.
Yeah.
I'm like the end of each of those trials felt like
Yeah.
so heroic in the
So
moment.
good.
Those are all great. Even in the chamber.
I think when he was saving Ginny.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, that was great.
That was really good.
Now that we know who Ginny is, too, we're like, it's even
Yeah.
better. You can go back and read the second
Yes.
book and be like, oh, she's so cool.
And I'm even thinking of just like the warm moments of like Christmas or time at the
Yeah.
Burrow.
I love the
funny.
Burrow.
Those were all
chapters.
like just funny little moments.
No, I love
Those don't affect me at all.
Really?
Oh.
Those are some of
I
my
love
favorites.
those.
Just because I
moments.
just want answers. I
Yeah.
just want to go through and I want to
Mhm.
know why. Why are you going after Harry? Why is this happening? That's all I want to know.
Yep.
Rapid fire ones. Just we'll do 2 because we kind of answered the favorite.
I forget.
Michael.
Oh, yeah.
The boy's like, he was sulky, so I
Yeah,
just left him.
I know.
Yeah.
So
I was like,
great.
good,
That
Ginny.
is hot
I love
tamale
it.
attitude right
It's hot
there.
tamale material.
Oh,
She's like
man.
with all the guys. She's just like
Right.
it's like one of the guys.
Yeah.
In a way,
Yeah.
like sexier and cute. And, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like her
I don't really remember the movies,
from the block.
but but I don't feel like she had the presence that I want her to have.
Yeah.
Like in the books, it's fine because she's like in the background, whatever. But then in the movies, I'm like, she just felt like a little bit like of a nobody. So I'm excited to see this movie and see how she
Let's
feels.
see what they do with that.
But, oh man,
Favorite moment. What is it again? Favorite moment, favorite character in this
Yeah.
book.
and hot tamale, yeah.
Yeah, so we
Oh, I
did.
did my
Yeah.
hot-
Tamale.
Yeah.
Let's all do hot tamale together. Hot tamale. Ginny. Who's yours?
I'm going with Ginny.
Ginny.
Mm-hmm.
Bill too. She's a hot tamale. But all right, favorite character.
Dumbledore. Because when we ranked our characters, he was my top.
I
He still
know.
is. In this book, we got to really meet him in a new way.
I'm between Dumbledore and Hermione.
Mm.
Hmm.
Oh, Hermione's
just
so
doing this
good in
book?
this. Yeah.
Gosh, it's hard. I mean, I love Dumbledore. Neville had so much growth in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
I'm gonna go with Neville.
I don't know. I'll probably go with him too.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
My love of
Nice.
Neville is.
That's
It knows
true.
no
I
bounds.
I
forget
know.
about him.
So good.
It's infecting you guys.
When
That
he's
makes me
like
so happy.
talking like this, and he's like, "Oh, you're
I
not alone."
Yeah, he was crushing
Oh
it
my
in there.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Back down.
great.
Pretty
Oh, it's so good. I love him so much.
Just like Hermione is just like, look at it this way.
Yeah.
Is this true? Da, 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 da.
Mhm.
Like,
She's great.
very
Yeah.
matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite moment. Last one. Favorite moment in all these books, or in all of this book. Sorry, not these.
Oh man.
In this
I actually picked
book.
out a favorite moment for these chapters too. I
What
was
was,
like, I'm
what was your
ready.
favorite in these chapters?
You know what my favorite moment was when
They're in the hospitaling, or right
no.
after that when he comes out of the barrier.
Where were they? It was Hermione with Luna. When
Ooh,
Hermione,
So good.
so
good.
what did she say?
Wait, Hermione with Luna or Harry with Luna?
No, Hermione.
You mean like on the train where she
When
was like,
Hermione seemed to struggle with herself for a moment,
Yeah.
then said, "That sounds lovely."
Oh,
because she's
I don't
growing.
know
It's
why,
so cute.
because there was that like friction between the two
Yes.
of them the whole book. Because Hermione's like, she's ridiculous. Like she would
Mhm.
always,
You're right.
kind of like go back at her. And that moment, it was like she stopped herself for a second and was like, "Okay, we can be on."
That's
good
maturity. I
terms."
love that.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
don't know, I
moment.
thought that was a sweet moment.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. Favorite moment. It's hard to figure. Like,
Yeah.
rethink through.
And because
everything,
the moments in
especially on
this
your
book
first
are the
time.
ones that are my favorites so far with
Yeah.
Dumbledore. So like I feel like I have to say those are my favorite in this book too. But I'm just trying to think of other moments that might be like pretty great. Like Fred and George leaving
Yeah,
the
that's
school.
my favorite moment,
That's
yeah.
like pretty up
Yeah,
there. That was
that's-
great. I don't know if there were any other big time moments.
I
It was-
feel like the
yeah.
kids with like the Death Eaters though,
Mm.
that was pretty good. Like
Yeah.
being able to like
Mhm.
hold them off a little
Yeah.
bit, jinxing them or
That
They
was
held them off
really
for a
hectic.
long time.
It was
That was
like
incredible.
a lot going on there. Yeah.
even like creating the Order of the Phoenix when they were all starting, and he's like, Harry's a teacher, and getting them all like.
Oh,
up
Dumbledore's
to-
army?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I say?
You said Order of the Phoenix.
That's
Yeah, I know
not
what you mean.
I meant, yeah. Thanks. With Harry, yeah. And
Yep,
the kids
that
just,
was
like,
awesome.
Learning and they like wanting to learn, and they're like progressing, and he was like proud of all
Yeah.
the kids,
Mm.
That's
all
so
his
good.
classmates.
Harry should teach Defense Against the Dark Arts next year.
He needs to learn.
Honestly,
more.
he could. He should
Yeah.
teach the younger kids.
Yeah,
and
right,
Then
yeah.
Dumbledore can teach the older kids
That'd
or
be
something.
great.
I don't know what else.
I feel like the Dumbledore chapter is just a good one too. I feel like
yeah,
because
that
you
was
get answers.
Yeah.
It's such a good moment.
To me.
Oh man, and during that, I'm literally going through all my notes through the book. In the trials, right? Was that when Dumbledore just like stayed super calm? I loved that moment.
Oh yeah.
Was that in the
He just has
beginning?
such a command
Yes.
over that
so
room.
good.
Yeah, the very beginning when Harry's on trial.
Such a
so
relief
long,
when
I
he
don't
came
know.
No, that's
gliding
why I'm
across
going
the
through, like all
floor.
of the
Oh.
notes. I'm like, oh man, even them eating at the table
Yep.
at the burrow. That's a,
That was a
I
scary
love
chapter
that
for me. Thank goodness we escaped with only Sirius.
oh my god!
Sorry.
Jenny.
Sorry.
was the one that died.
I'm gonna throw this book at
On
you.
that note, the other day I was doing
That's his
something
favorite moment.
and somebody said, someone's like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm dead serious." And I was like, "Oh, dead serious." And not in my head,
I'll never be
I
able
was
to
like,
say that
"Oh." Now, anytime someone says serious, that's what I think of. So I just
know.
thought that was
Oh,
That's devastating.
too soon.
Too soon. But
That's
now we get to
terrible.
go through. Well, we're gonna watch the movie first, so we can't start the next book.
Mm.
But movie and then Half-Blood Prince, which is really exciting.
Wow, yeah,
Oh,
it's
we're
so
getting there,
exciting.
guys.
I love the beginnings of all the books. They're just so great.
The next beginning of the
There's
next
an
book
energy to 'em.
is unparalleled. It is so.
Oh yeah, you were
Good.
saying that's right.
The next 3 chapters. People
This
are
is where it
pumped for
really
us.
gets good,
guys.
guys.
Guys,
He's been saying that.
this
since
is where the
J1.
books really
But it's
start to get
so
good.
true though. It feels like every
know what I mean,
chapter, every like 5 chapters is just better than the last
Yes.
in new ways. It builds very nicely.
Yes.
It's satisfying.
The books just keep getting better and better and better
Mhm.
and better. Oh, it's so good. But thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Until next time. We made it through power outages, through a long discussion. You guys are the best.
Wow.
Yeah, the next book. The next people are so pumped for us to get to the next 3 chapters because the opening 3 chapters of Half-Blood Prince are just like, oh my gosh.
I'm kind of surprised Fudge is even still in power, and I'm just curious if that's going to remain true for the next chunk of things. Like, is it going to be end of summer and we're getting a recap of like, here's what happened?
Yep.
Also, wait, Sunday Prophet, is that just like a modified Daily Prophet? Like
Yeah, it's
daily
like
is
Sunday
weekdays
paper.
and Sunday is just okay. Cool.
I think it's just like
at first
Sunday
I was like,
paper.
wait, is Daily Prophet not
Exactly,
around
right?
anymore?
Check the book.
Oh, also we found out why she was holding the Quibbler upside down. She was just reading the answers to her quiz.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was something so much cooler than that. But whatever.
You were on that theory for a little.
And
a
I
little
like
bit.
that. Who was it? Ginny was doing the quiz too, so she was
Yeah.
like joining Luna in that.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I feel like there could be a good Ginny Luna friendship.
Yeah, you're right.
Ginny was kind of the one that
They already
she.
have that, no?
Yeah, they kind of did, but I feel like
Yeah.
that's a good friendship that
Better.
can grow. Yeah.
Because they're the same age,
Yeah, they're
right?
the same
There's
year.
coins. You're gonna inspect those?
Yes. Wait, what does it say on those coins?
She's like, I just,
Oh, it says
I
one
didn't
galleon.
want you to.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, everyone, thanks for joining us on the
Thanks,
stream. That was
guys.
great. You guys are the best. We're gonna just look at this book and look at these pictures. There's a good picture of
Hagrid too.
I think so. Yeah.
No,
Coming
I
back with the
saw-
meat
yeah, I
on his
saw.
face, or with the boarhound fang. We'll let you guys know when we're gonna do the movie pod. But have a great day or a great night wherever you are.
Wow. Respect you nighttime people.
I know, for real.
Yeah.
Respect, guys. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh! Did you see this one?
It's Cho. They're in the owlry.
A little crust
Is that all
on
owl
her
poop on the
face.
thing? Ew.
Wait, what?
Like they have like this smirking, like they're like Cho and Harry.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like so excited.
They're pretty cute.
Nah, I never really liked them.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, man.
That's a quick switcheroo.
No, I could see it almost working with them.
They were all right.
Ooh.